How do we do the lineups? Like, what's the way we do it? Are you just gonna do both lineups and both infield?
after hitting 3 men and
consistency, and there's no better way to get off to a consistent start than winning Game 1 today. I also got the starter, and it's Chris Farrell from William & Mary. Chris Farrell had an excellent season for William & Mary in the spring. He went 5-0 with just about a 2.5 ERA. Roberts is still trying to feel out his team a little bit, but as for right now, he thinks Farrell's the guy to go with, and we'll see how he does. Back to you.
Great, thanks. So now we'll hear what Coach Roberts had to say about the upcoming season, how he's feeling, and then we'll throw it up to our broadcasters for first pitch. Welcome back to the Cape Cod.
'Enjoy. Going on now. Tw- 25 seconds out. Welcome to the village of Cotuit. This is opening day 2019 in the Cape Cod Baseball League, and today's matchup features the Cotuit Kettleers, 16-time Cape League champions, against the YD Red Sox, champions of the Cape Cod Baseball League 8 times. So glad that you could join us on a wonderful Monday afternoon in the beautiful village of Cotuit on Cape Cod. I'm Sam Niederman, alongside my good friend Aram Layton, our entire Cotuit Kettleers broadcast crew. It's a packed house at Lowell Park. It's one of the great traditions in this entire Cape League. Opening day in Cotuit does not get much better than this, my friend.
It's tough to beat. We got dozens of Little Leaguers all over, their parents, their grandparents. There's just a Christmas morning type of feel to opening day, and I can't wait to get this game started.
It's going to be a great matchup. Both head coaches at home plate meeting together. They know their way around this league. Mike Roberts entering his 16th season in charge of the Kettleers, his 18th on the Cape. Scott Pickler, a recent ABCA Hall of Fame inductee, the class of 2019, who actually received a letter of recommendation from Mike Roberts. They're going over the lineup cards with the umpires right now. Pickler in his 22nd season with the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. He is the second winningest head coach in Cape League history. Both teams have been introduced, Aram. It's a great day for some baseball. Packed house here at Lowell Park. The grandstand on the left side, almost filled to capacity if you look at the corners. Grandstand on the right, a little more sprinkled in. A great classic matchup between two of the dynasties in all of Cape Cod. Let's take a look at the pitching matchup for today's matchup. You never know who you're going to get early out in the season. We have a couple of attempts for Cotuit. Chris Farrell gets the call, a right-hander from William and Mary. 5'11", a 195-pound redshirt senior out of Great Falls, Virginia. And then it's John Beller, a left-hander who goes for Yarmouth Dennis, 5'11", a 180-pound junior from University of Southern Cal. What do you look for on that matchup on the hill?
Well, we'll start with Farrell, of course, the Kettleers starter today. He's the veteran of this staff. If he sticks around, he's a redshirt senior from William and Mary. Obviously, he's seen a lot, he's thrown a lot in his career, and I think that's a lot of the reason why Coach Roberts went to him today on opening day. You'll get the other side in John Beller, a younger guy, had a really, really good freshman year over at USC, fell back a little bit in his sophomore year, but a tall left-handed pitcher that's shown that he can strike guys out at a high rate. So it should be interesting to see how long both these guys get through the game.
It'll be a great matchup. And if you remember last season's opening day in Cotuit, it was one to remember. A classic 10-1 dominating victory for the Kettleers, who bested the defending league champions at the time in the Brewster Whitecaps, and there was history made. Peyton Burdick went 4 for 4, mashing 3 home runs, bringing in 7 RBI. It was an unbelievable performance that just unfolded in front of this entire crowd. Everybody was shocked afterward, and it lived up to the hype. Burdick making history, becoming just the 8th player in Cape League history to hit 3 home runs in a single game on opening day, and he just got picked up a couple of weeks ago, actually last week's MLB draft, by the Miami Marlins in the 3rd round, part of a great draft class for the Cotuit Kettleers. Taking a look at what these two teams did last season, for Cotuit, the Kettleers finished 22-18-2, good enough for 4th in the Western Division, just to sneak into the postseason. However, the Kettleers fell short and were swept in the 1st round by the eventual league champion Wareham Gateman, and that's where Cotuit's season ended. In fact, it ended right here in Lowell Park to the tune of a 15-6 defeat that encompassed a 9-run 9th inning. It was ugly. It went on for a long time. That's all out of everybody's memory. And now it's June 2019, and we get to play baseball once again. The Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox, well, they had another terrific campaign in 2018, finishing 27-15-2. Another Eastern Division championship for Scott Pickler and his crew. They're 6th overall. And they look to be in prime position to perhaps go to the Cape League title series. Well, it was a shell shocker in round 1 for them. They were ousted in 2 games by the lowly Brewster Whitecaps, who only won 13 ball games in the regular season, losing a close one in game 1 and then getting blown out on the road 12-2 in Brewster to end the season. So a lot on YD's mind to try and turn back to their championship level form in opening day 2019. Aram, we're looking at a couple of the guys that went in the draft class for Cotuit last season. A great day. Michael Tolia went in the 1st round with the Colorado Rockies. We mentioned Peyton Burdick. Will Robertson even was picked up in the 5th round by the Toronto Blue Jays. Now it's a new crop. Who do you think stands out on this season's squad?
And I think the answer is obvious. I think everyone would have the same answers I'm about to give you, but it's Nick Gonzalez. He was an absolute standout this past season, led the NCAA in batting average, was among the top in just about every single offensive category. He's going to be playing second base tonight for Cotuit. He's leading off today, which is pretty interesting. He also hit 17 home runs this past year. He can run, he can hit. There's pretty much nothing he can't do. I'm excited to see what this guy can do this year, and he has a lot of hype to live up to.
And we also have a couple of returners, in batting third today is one of those returners. It's Adam Oviedo. What do you know about him?
Well, like you told me off the air, Oviedo is one of your favorites. He's really sure-handed. He can pretty much play all over the infield, but he's going to stick it short probably at the pro level. He can hit, too. He built off of a pretty solid freshman year. Had a great year as a sophomore, up the on-base percentage, up the batting average, was able to hit for a little bit of power. He's a guy that could really break out in the Cape and boost his draft stock.
Now, we've had a couple of guys that have come in here, and we've been around the cage a little bit, and we've been able to see them. I'm thinking of Cam Hill, Dante Williams in the outfield, even Gun Young Kim, who get the start in right field today. Who are some of the other newbies that you're looking for to make an impact?
Well, I love how Coach Roberts sticks to his guns, right? He loves the athletic outfielders, the athletic infielders. I love Dante Williams. I think he could be a table setter. He's hitting ninth today, which is, in my opinion, the second leadoff spot, right? And he could be a guy that ends up batting leadoff later in this season. He had a great summer in the Northwoods League this past summer. He can run, he can get on base at a high rate, and he doesn't strike out a lot. I think he's going to be a ranger out there in center field, commanding all of that wide area we see out there as it's 397 to dead center. A lot of ground to cover out there, and I think Dante Williams is going to do a great job of it.
It's going to be a great season to look at seeing how so many of these guys can get it going. And if you look at the promise that this league delivers, it was delivered last season with the Kettleers having 40-plus players selected in last season's, or the 2019 MLB draft. That encompasses all of them alumni from 2017 and last year's squad. So who knows? Who could it be this year? We'll find out. It's a great day for opening day baseball. We're just waiting for the 5 p.m. first pitch. We've got a little bit of an early start. It's 4:57 right now. The three umpires are hanging out around home plate. YD's got some players throwing in right field. Cotuit is lined up in a huddle outside the third base dugout. There's a pretty darn good crowd on hand, probably about 1,000, near the capacity of Lowell Park. Overcast skies overhead, 66 degrees, a slight breeze, a nice Cape Cod day. You mentioned the deep outfield arm, so let's set the dimensions of Lowell Park. 320 down either line, about 360, 370 or so to either alley, and 397 to dead center. The scoreboard is out in left center field, along with an American flag banners across the outfield as well. The buzz is in the air, the smells of the Kettleer kitchen coming out, and it's going to be another fun opening day for the Kettleers against the YD Red Sox. It should be a matchup that it would be evenly battled. Both of these teams played last season 4 times and split the overall season series 2-2 apiece. Cotuit actually swept YD at home last season in a Father's Day early season doubleheader, but then lost both of their road matchups at Red Wilson Field and Yarmouth Dennis. The umpires are getting set at home plate. Let's take a look at YD for a second, my friend. They're a pretty loaded team with a lot of Power 5 flavor.
A lot of Power 5 flavor. That seems to be the way they've done it over the years. Of course, Austin Wells looks like a guy. He's a big DH. A lot of power to offer in that 5-hole today. Noah Myers, a guy that just got here, speedster at the top of the order. And Riley Terada, a guy from Dayton, didn't play as much his first 2 years, his first year rather, had a really good sophomore year to bounce back, and I'm interested to see how he does as well. Another guy who just got here today. So a lot of newcomers for YD. I'm interested to see how they're going to come together on such short notice.
Yeah, it should be fun to see. And, of course, Scott Pickler with his California ties, 35-plus years in the California JUCO scene with Cypress College just outside of Anaheim. He knows how to pick those guys off, and we actually have a lot of JUCO guys in here today on either side. Cotuit, you got Mason Dodd in there, a couple of guys from Belmont Abbey and Beckway as well, and of course, another guy that just came onto the scene, Araj Anu, a JUCO transfer from Wallace College down in Dothan, Alabama. He'll be committed to Kentucky to transfer next year. That could be a guy that we see spark a name here today for himself.
Well, we talked about our bold predictions off the air earlier.
Yes.
One of my bold predictions going into this game was a home run from Araj Anu on opening day. I don't know if he's going to have a Peyton Burdick type of opening day, but I think he's going to give us one home run today. That's my hot take.
He could be the man to watch. The Kettleers just took the field, and they look good as ever in pinstripes, the white home uniforms trimmed in maroon. And it will be the YD Red Sox at the plate first to come up as the road team. So let's get you a starting lineup. Scott Pickler is in his 22nd season in charge of YD, 496 victories in the Cape League, second in winningest coach of all time, only to the legendary John Schiffner of Chatham. 6 Cape League championships. Nobody has more. Last one that he got was in his 2016 effort, which completed a modern-day trio, most all-time, along with 6-time Eastern Division championships. 15 playoff appearances for Pickler. He looks on beyond his dugout. He's coached so many memorable names in his longtime tenure at YD, from Posey to Hoffman to Panic and Sale. Could be more of those star names in a starting lineup that goes like this. It's his opening day lineup card, and it goes with Noah Myers as a leadoff batter. He's the center fielder. Adam Kerner bats second and does the catching. Jack Wold is the first baseman, batting third. Riley Terrata out of Dayton, the third baseman, batting cleanup. Austin Wells is the DH. He bats fifth. Wyatt Young plays second base and bats sixth. Jack Suttleston, the right fielder, batting seventh. Brendan Huth is the left fielder, batting eighth. And Will Picketts is the shortstop, batting ninth. The starting pitcher for YD today, John Beller, a left-hander out of Southern Cal. 5'11", 180, a junior from Hermosa Beach, California. Once again, for Scott Pickler's YD Red Sox, Myers in center, Kerner behind the plate, Wald at first base, Terrata at third, Wells the DH, Young at second, Suttleston in right, Huth in left, and Picketts at short behind the lefty in John Beller. Kettleers still getting warmed up on the diamond. It's Chris Farrell who gets loose on the mound, making his first career start in the pinstripes. A senior out of William and Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia. And he is getting the call from Mike Roberts because we're at a time in the year where you don't know too much about your pitching staff, but he has some starting experience at William and Mary as far as this past spring goes. Arm, before he gets underway, what do you look for some keys for him?
Well, it's getting ahead of these batters, right? The worst thing you can do is fall behind in the Cape Cod League. You have some of the best hitters in all of the nation here. He doesn't have electric stuff like some of the other guys we've seen. High 80s fastball, can mix at 3 pitches. So for him, it's important to get ahead and not fall behind these guys because he doesn't have the stuff to come back in a hitter's count.
All righty, strap it in. Here we go. Noah Myers comes out of the visiting dugout on the first base side and readjusts the batting gloves. He's set to kick us off here at Lowell Park. This is the 73rd season of Cotuit Kettleers baseball, and this is opening day at good old Lowell Park. Chris Farrell on the right side of the rubber. The right-hander winds up and deals in. Strike one on the outside corner to Noah Myers, and we are underway. First pitch clocks in 3 minutes late at 5:03 p.m. Eastern Time. Myers bats from the left side. Slightly open stance, and he fans through a good changeup from Farrell. No balls and 2 strikes. Farrell, 5'11", 190 pounds, a slender frame, not very imposing. He's a redshirt senior out of Great Falls, Virginia, a product of Flint Hill High School. Normal depth for the Kettleers infield, 0-2 to Myers. Fastball just off the outside corner at 96 miles an hour on the radar gun. Kettleers infield around the horn. Casey Schmidt plays at third base. Adam Oviedo is back at shortstop, just in town from Texas Christian University. Nick Gonzalez at second base. And it's Mason Dodd out of Belmont Abbey College who plays at first base. 1-2 to Myers. Shimmies inside, a fastball in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kettleers outfield from left to right. Cam Hill out of Kentucky in left. Dante Williams from Arizona in center. And Gun-Young Kim from Boise State plays in right field. Outfield shaded to the left. Williams playing almost in that left center gap and a little shallow. Long look in from Farrell out of the windup. 2-2. Breaking pitch. Swing and a miss. Scott Myers to lead off the game. 1 down here at the top of the first.
Excellent job of getting ahead, like I said, and a great backdoor breaking ball there. Way ahead in the count. He's able to waste one, and he didn't even waste it. So good job of Farrell pounding the zone. We'll see if he can keep doing that.
1 down, nobody aboard, no score here at the top of the first. Chris Farrell off to a good start. Here's Adam Kerner in the number 2 spot for YD, catcher from San Diego University, batting from the right side. Farrell kicks and deals, slider checked off, foul, strike 1. Colton Kessler does the catching for the Kettleers today. Big 6'3", 215-pound frame out of the University of Kentucky. He's got a cannon behind home plate and definitely brings some punch. Commanding and calling a game. 0-1 to Kerner, twisted off foul, another fastball, ricocheting off his shin. Farrell getting ahead again, no balls and 2 strikes. Kerner is a returner. 5'11", 185 pounds, a junior from Agora Hills, California. Played for YD last season, only hit .233 with a home run and 7 driven in 60 at-bats. Dante Williams shifts a little bit to the right center gap. Infield back, 0-2 home. Slider just off the plate. Good look from Farrell, but it's ball one.
And Farrell's not playing around with these hitters at all, going right after them.
There is no score at the top of one. One out, and the base is clear. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Kerner. Slider again, hammered home on the inside corner, 87 miles an hour, but called for a ball. Home plate umpire Jeff Merzel. Tom Carey is the first base ump, and Mike Robideau, the third base umpire. They're all in the sky blues today. 2-2. Another good slider. Outside corner, ring him up. Chris Farrell with back-to-back Ks to start this one off in the first. And he gets Kerner looking. Another good look, and that breaking pitch might be Farrell's big punch-out pitch.
I mean, he's showing command with all 3 pitches right now. We'll see if he starts pitching guys backwards. So far, he's just been going to the fastball early in the count. With the way he's locating the slider, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts throwing that to start batters off.
2 outs, nobody aboard, and a foul ball off the bat of Jack Wold. First baseman who bats from the left side out of UNLV, a junior from Henderson, Nevada. Scoreless ball game, opening day, top of 1. No balls and 1 strike. Chris Farrell with command early on the mound, the redshirt senior from William and Mary College. His 0-1 grounded right side past first base foul. 0-2.
Wold had a great year as a sophomore, hitting .330, 9 doubles, 6 home runs, drove in 33, and a clutch stat to him too. Had led the team with 5 game-winning hits.
Wow, a good stat indeed. Infield shades a little more to the right. Casey Schmidt at third is nearly playing deep in the hole at short. 0-2, fastball off the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Wold. Kettleers playing Wold to pull from the left side. There's plenty of room down the line past third base. Dante Williams plays straight up in center. 2 outs, nobody on, no score. Farrell intent on his look in. Wind up at the 1-2. Popped up. Left field, sending Cam Hill back, and he's got room to make the catch. About 15 feet or so in front of the fence, and that's a good start for Chris Farrell and the Kettleers here at the top of the first. A 1-2-3 inning. No runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left for YD. And the Kettleers come calling for the bottom of the first time in 2019. We'll be right back in just a moment. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to Lowell Park. Happy Monday and happy opening day. Bottom of the first, no score between the Cotuit Kettleers and the YD Red Sox. And on the mound for YD, a lefty out of Southern Cal. It's John Beller who will face the Kettleers starting lineup that goes like this. Mike Roberts is in his 16th season in Cotuit, and his lineup is one that is rather familiar with a lot of pop. It's Nick Gonzalez who bats first and plays second base, the national batting champ at New Mexico State this past spring. Araj Anu, a designated hitter who will be transferring to Kentucky, bats second. Adam Oviedo from TCU, the shortstop, he bats third. Colton Kessler bats cleanup and does the catching, another UK product. Casey Schmidt from San Diego State, the third baseman, batting fifth. Gun Young Kim, the right fielder, batting sixth out of Boise State. Mason Dodd is the first baseman, batting seventh. He's from Belmont Abbey College. Cam Hill, the left fielder, bats eighth from Kentucky. And Dante Williams out of Arizona is the center fielder, batting ninth. Chris Farrell was the starting pitcher. The right-hander worked a perfect 1-2-3 inning with 2 strikeouts. Once again for Mike Roberts, Kettleers, Nick Gonzalez at second. Anu as the DH, Oviedo at short, Kessler behind the plate, Schmidt at third, Kim in right, Dodd at first, Hill in left, and Williams, Dante in center, and Farrell on the bump. Well, you might remember this young man from last season. He played in the last few games and the postseason for the Kettleers, but this time he'll get to show his full talents all around. Nick Gonzalez bats leadoff for the Kettleers. Second baseman from New Mexico State. Beller, the lefty, kicks and deals, and Gonzalez slashes one into the air, right field. Taken by Suttleton, and there's quickly one gone here in the home half of the first. Well, he didn't even give enough time to introduce what kind of a great spring he had, but Gonzalez hit .432 with 16 homers and 80 ribbies, and he's without a doubt one of the names that jumps off the page for this Kettleer squad. Also to go with this guy, Araj Anu, designated hitter from Kentucky. He bats from the right side and takes a curve in the dirt, ball one. One out, nobody on. No score here in Cotuit, bottom of the first. Anu just arrived literally the other day and was activated on the roster this morning before opening day. Tails off the 1-0 foul out of play on the right side. 1 ball and 1 strike. An imposing frame. 6'2", 215 pounds. He looks like a linebacker out there.
And he hits the ball about as far as anyone on this Kettleers team.
1-1, ripped to short. Backhand pick on his back heel by Picketts, but then he airmails it to first. Goes over the head of Wold, and Anu is aboard with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. A hard hit ball that ate up the shortstop, Will Picketts. He slid onto his back hip and made a pick, but wasn't able to make the throw. It was about 10 feet too tall for Wold at first, and Araj Anu is on to start things off. Rolled as a hit.
That ball was absolutely laced. And Anu was getting up the line pretty quickly, forced the shortstop to rush his throw a little bit in Picketts, and I think that had part of the reason why he airmailed that over first base.
Now Adam Oviedo. Anu on first base, held on by Wold. Beller from the stretch, inside with a curveball. 1 ball and no strikes. Ovi's back for his second season in Cotuit. Played a full year last year with the Kettleers, product of Texas Christian University, a junior out of Grandview, Texas. Really boosted up his numbers this past year in Fort Worth. Hit .291 with 3 homers and 33 RBI. .379 on base percentage, 60 points higher than his freshman campaign.
And you mentioned boosting up from his freshman year, but he was a Big 12 all-freshman, so it wasn't like he was a slouch his first year out there.
Great defender as well. Anu on first, 1 out, 1-0 to Ovi. In there, a changeup, strike 1. Scoreless, bottom 1, 1 on and 1 out. Anu reaching on an infield hit. Oviedo going with the high socks again. He crowds the plate from the right side, resting the bat on his back right shoulder. 1-1, chipped off foul, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Whitey's in the road, Reds today, trimmed in blue. White pants, and the red stirrups as well. White caps on the front panel with the red and blue Whitey logo, and blue on the back panel, red on the brim. Kettleers in the home white pinstripes trimmed in maroon. Cotuit across the chest. Beller leans in, left arm dangling. Now he comes set for the 1-2. High and tight with an 88-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Beller's coming off of his best start of the spring with USC. It was back on May the 23rd against Oregon State. Went a career-high 7 innings and struck out 9. Did not allow a run. Lefty kicks and deals. Inside with another fastball, thigh high. Full count on Oviedo.
Yeah, Beller saved his best for last with number 12 Oregon State, one of the most potent lineups in the country this past year. It's pretty hard to go any more than 5 innings as a starter against a team like that.
Anu, a very modestly, not much of a threat to run at first. And a quick little check by Beller to throw to Wold. Nothing doing. Have a hit being chanted out here at Lowell Park. The rallying cry for the Kettleers. And time called behind home plate by Jeff Merzel.
Looks like Beller tried to rush Oviedo a little bit there as he was getting back into the box.
1 on, 1 out. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Oviedo. Pitch from Beller. Inside corner, a fastball. Called strike 3. That's out number 2. Oviedo not happy with the call. But Beller gets a big strikeout, and that'll bring up the cleanup batter, Colton Kessler.
You saw Beller trying to pound on that inside corner. Oviedo laid off the first 2 times. That third one was just able to nick that inside corner.
So Anu still on first base with 2 down, 0-0 in the bottom of the first. And Colton Kessler comes to the plate. Here's a guy that we're really excited to see. 6'3", 215 pounds out of St. Louis, Missouri, a junior at the University of Kentucky, and he bats from the left side. Beller deals, breaking ball in the dirt, and it gets through the 5-hole of Kerner behind home plate, allowing Anu to go up to second base. Score it as a pass ball. And the Kettleers now have a runner in scoring position.
Kessler's a big guy, obviously boasts a lot of power. Played in the Texas Collegiate League last summer and actually was an all-star and a home run derby participant, so we know he can poke it out of there.
Anu leads off second, 1-0 to Kessler. Curveball on the outside corner, strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kessler also has a mohawk now. He didn't have that when he first arrived here. I think it's something new for the summer. You can see it out of the back of his maroon batting helmet. 1-1 pitch, lashed into right field. Suttleton's not going to get there. It's down for a base hit. Anu chugs into third, and Mike Roberts holds him there. And Colton Kessler comes up with a single to extend the inning for the Kettleers.
Not sure he would have scored on that hit, but it looked like Anu wasn't sure how many outs there were. Off the bat, he retreated back to second a little bit. As it fell, ran over to third. Like I said, not sure if he would have been able to score, but had absolutely no chance at that point.
And of course, Mike Roberts, a base running aficionado, and actually just saw Anu say my bad on that one. He just got here, so he didn't go through the basic training with Coach as all the other guys did over the last week leading up to this opening day.
The infamous Coach Roberts base running gauntlet.
Yes. Here's Casey Schmidt, who takes a curve low in the zone, strike 1. Kessler on first, Anu on third. 2 outs for the Kettleers. No score, an opportunity to take the lead in the bottom of the first. Casey Schmidt at the plate, third baseman from San Diego State. He's a right-handed bat up against John Beller, the left-handed pitcher, still working out of the stretch. 0-1 on the way home. Another curve in the dirt. This time Kerner is able to get some padding on it. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Schmidt's another guy I'm really excited about. A two-way player for San Diego State. Will probably do a lot of the same here in Cotuit. Hit .315 at the plate and also picked up 8 saves for San Diego on the mound. So a guy that can do it all, and Coach Roberts will be happy to have him in his back pocket.
2-year starter with the Aztecs. That's actually the alma mater of White East head coach Scott Pickler. 1-1 to Schmidt. Good location on the fastball, high and tight. Brushed him off the plate, called for a strike, 1-2.
I'll tell you what, Beller is not afraid to come inside to these right-handed hitters, something that's rare to find in a lefty that's not going to push upper 90s. He's just more in the upper 80s, might touch 90, but he has no fear, and he's going right in on these big Cotuit right-handed hitters.
1-2. Hit hard in the air to left, sending the fielder back, but he's got it on the run. That's Brendan Huth, who makes the catch a few steps from the track. And that concludes the inning. The Kettleers unable to get any runs home. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and a couple runners left on base. 1 in scoring position, and we have played 1. There is no score here at Lowell Park, and we're on to the second. Whitey coming back to the plate up next. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Village of Cotuit. Opening day 2019, top of the second inning. No score between the Kettleers and the YD Red Sox. And YD's back at the plate. 4, 5, and 6 due up to try and solve the right-hander Chris Farrell. Terada, Wells, and Young. Farrell out of the windup. First pitch, a slider, slapped away foul down the right field line. No balls and one strike on Riley Terada. 6'3", 210-pound junior from South Bend, Indiana. Dayton University Flyer. He's actually wearing his university's colors with this red and blue today for YD. 0-1 from Farrell. Slider in there again. Low and on that bottom corner of the zone. Beautiful spot. No balls and 2 strikes. Terada hit .260 in 59 games this past season with Dayton. 5 homers, 41 RBI. 2-strike pitch, cued on the ground to first. Backhand pick by Dodd, and he tosses over to Farrell, who does a nice job to cover. 1 up and 1 down to begin the second.
I'm not sure how much they've worked on PFPs so far early in the season, but they looked really comfortable and in sync on that. Not as easy as it looks to get over and have the pitcher covering in time for a speedy runner. Terada got up the line pretty quickly.
Farrell retires the leadoff man again. Base is empty, 1 out in the top of 2. 0-0, and here's Austin Wells, left-handed batting designated hitter. Farrell's first pitch to him, slider in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. Kettleers shade the infield a tick to the right. Casey Schmidt playing away from the line at third. Outfield plays at normal depth, and Williams a tick into the left center gap in center field. 0-1 home, swing and a miss by Wells. No balls and 2 strikes. I beg your pardon, 1 ball and 1 strike. Wells steps back in. Sophomore from Arizona. He's also wearing his school's colors today. Swings and misses at the 1-1 from Farrell. 92 miles an hour on that last fastball. The righty gets ahead in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One out, nobody aboard in the second. No score. Farrell's 1-2. Breaking pitch. Taken away foul over the left side. And back behind the batting cages in the Kettleer kitchen. Still 1-2. Wells was a top contributor for Arizona in his rookie season. Get this, a .353 batting average. 5 homers and 60 driven in. 1-2 again. Curve in the dirt. And a little outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's a good waste pitch there. Tried to backdoor him, but we've only seen Farrell throw a handful of balls so far that through 1 2/3, or 1 1/3 rather. He's just not afraid to go right after these guys as well. Both pitchers really efficient and working quickly.
It's 2-2. Grounded foul, ricocheting off of Wells on the left side. And we'll do a 2-2 count again. Good battle early. Wells has got the specs on. He's in the Adidas gear. Red Adidas cleats from his team in Arizona. Black and white Adidas batting gloves. He crowds the plate, and Kessler gives a sign to Farrell. Shook him off once, shook him off twice. Now he's in the windup. 2-2. Breaking pitch in the dirt. He really is going with it early. It's now full count. Kettleers in the home whites. Pinstripes trimmed in maroon. Maroon caps. A moonlight silver script C this year on the front panel. Whitey in the road reds on top of white pants trimmed in blue. Payout pitch to Wells. Breaking pitch, just nicked foul. Still 3-2. Good battle again. Lowell Park in great shape on an overcast opening day. Very temperate. Temperatures in the upper 60s. No breeze whatsoever. Farrell's 3-2. Breaking pitch runs inside. And it's a walk to Wells with 1 out here in the top of the second.
It's a good spot with a 3-2 fastball. Just missed maybe a couple inches inside. No way he would have been able to get around on that one. Would have froze him if he just located it a few inches further towards the plate.
So YD has their first base runner of the ball game. First 4 batters that came to the plate weren't able to get on against Farrell. But Wells works a 1-out walk here in the second. He's on first base, and Wyatt Young comes to the plate. Left-handed batting second baseman out of Pepperdine. First pitch swinging, ground ball to short. Scoop by Oviedo, toss to second for one. Young too fast at first. They'll only get the lead runner. 6-4 on a fielder's choice to retire the runner in Wells, and Young safe at first base with 2 down now. Nothing ball game in the visiting half of the second inning. 2 outs and a runner on first. And here's Jack Suttleton, right fielder from Harvard. First pitch swinging, not there. Throw down from Kessler. Runner is safe and Young. Breaking pitch by Farrell. Kessler's got a great arm, placed it well, but Young just had a great jump, and boy, is he fast.
He needed to have a great jump because Kessler was quick there with the snap throw. He actually thought he got him there. He was halfway towards the dugout, but slid just in there before the tag.
It was close. Young's a little guy, too, only 5'7". His jersey a little baggy out there at second base. Suttleton still at the plate. No balls and 1 strike. 2 outs and a runner in scoring position for YD. No score in the second. Farrell from the stretch. Another good breaking ball. That's in there. Strike 2. Suttleton, the Ivy League Player of the Year at Harvard this past spring. 3 strong years with the Crimson. This past spring, he batted .372 with 11 dingers and 53 runs batted in. 6'3", open stance from the right side, and he chokes up a little bit on a vanilla-colored wood bat. 2 outs, runner on 2. And the 0-2 from Farrell. Swing and a miss. Got him on a good fastball, hard and low. And Chris Farrell has struck out his 3rd batter of the game. And the Kettleers get out on the top of the second with unscathed damage. It's YD who goes up with no runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left in scoring position. And we're on to the home half of 2. No score. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball. Opening day 2019 here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. How you doing out there? Hope you're doing all right. Bottom of the second inning here at Lowell Park. No score between the Kettleers and the YD Red Sox. And the Kettleers send up the bottom of their order here. 6, 7, and 8. Gun Young Kim, Cam Hill, and then Mason Dodd. John Beller kicks and deals. A lefty gets ahead. No balls and 1 strike after a swing and a miss by Gun Young Kim, center fielder from Boise State. A right fielder, I beg your pardon. He is a native of South Korea. And he bats from the left side. Another pitch from Beller popped up this time. Playable on the infield. Terada at third comes into foul ground and makes the grab. Quickly, 1 out. Here's Mason Dodd. He was due up second in the inning. First baseman from Belmont Abbey College.
One of 2 Belmont Abbey guys on this Kettleer team. 15 bombs in the Division II Belmont Abbey. A guy that can pack a punch. Obviously, he's playing first base. It's a premium power position.
He looks at ball 1, a curve away. No score, bottom 2, 1 out, nobody aboard for Dodd, a native of Augusta, Georgia. Talked with him yesterday. He's been to the Masters almost every year. It's got to be pretty cool. 1-0 from Beller, taken the opposite way, but it flies out of play foul into the Kettleer bullpen down the left field line. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And one of the few players in this Cape Cod League that he was telling us yesterday didn't really do a lot of the showcases, didn't do a lot of the showcase tournaments. He played football. He said baseball became a thing towards the end when he realized he could keep playing it.
Beller's 1-1, golfed in the air, shallow center field. Here comes Myers, and he's got it for out number 2. So Kim and Dodd retired. John Beller starting to settle in a little bit. He gave up a couple of base hits in the first inning, but was able to work around a jam with runners on first and third and 2 outs. This time he's got 2 outs and nobody aboard. Bottom 2, still 0-0 on the scoreboard. And Cam Hill comes to the plate, left fielder from Kentucky.
I love the speed at the bottom of this Cotuit lineup. Can set the table really well for the top of the order.
Beller, first pitch slider on the outside corner, strike 1. Hill hit .248 this past season with the Cats. Native of Georgetown, Kentucky in Scott County. 0-1 is a bunt, and a good one. Third base side. Bare hand pick by Tirada, not nearly in time. He bobbled it as well. And Cam Hill's aboard with a bunt single. Mike Roberts special with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second.
When a pitcher's on, like both pitchers have been so far, sometimes that's like what you have to do to throw them out of their rhythm. A perfect bunt. Third baseman was playing back with 2 outs, and now he has to come out of the stretch, something he only did briefly. So we'll see what Dante Williams can do if he can flip the lineup back over to the dangerous Gonzalez.
It's got Dante Williams now, the center fielder from Arizona, his first at-bat of the season. He's got plenty of speed as well. Hill has speed on first base, held on by Wold. Beller back out of the stretch, and Tirada plays in at third. Lefty on lefty matchup, and the first pitch is above the belt, ball 1. Scoreless ball game, bottom 2, 2 outs and a runner aboard for the Kettleers and Cam Hill. Dante Williams, a 5'10", 170-pound junior from Las Vegas at the plate. Another left-handed bat. 1-0 pitch. Fastball outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Beller has been working at a pretty decent speed, but this time he takes some time off the rubber to readjust his shoulders and dangle his left arm as he looks in from the sign for Adam Kerner. Small lead for Hill at first. 2-0 pitch. Misses down and away again. 3 balls and no strikes.
You see he's a little bit out of rhythm now after that bunt single. Has to go back out of the stretch like we said. And little things like that can throw off a pitcher who's mowing down hitters early in the game.
3-0 pitch. Get me over fastball at the thighs. Strike 1. Nick Gonzalez looms on deck. It would be the second time for the top of the order. Normal depth for the YD infield. Wold holds on at first. Outfield plays straight up 2. 3-1. Fastball just nicked the outside corner. Williams thought he had ball 4, but instead he's got to stand back in. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
The one benefit of that is Hill will be on the move here. Could have a lot of speed on the bases if Dante is able to put it in play.
No score, bottom 2. Cam Hill on first. Wold no longer holding. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2-out pitch. And Williams lunged at it and sent it foul down the left field line. Might have been ball 4. Had to protect, though, anything close. Kettleers have collected 3 hits so far. Nothing for YD through 2. 3-2 again. Hill going, and a swing and a miss by Williams. Beller gets out with a big strikeout, and the Kettleers come up empty in the bottom of the second inning after Williams' 2-out bunt hit. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. And we have played 2 complete here at Lowell Park. There is no score between Cotuit and YD. You're listening to Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Welcome back to Lowell Park on opening day. Arm Layton alongside my friend Sam Niederman. We've had a lot of momentum so far. This game is rolling. We're already in the top of the third. Both pitchers have just been really effective in working quickly.
Yeah, Chris Farrell has really been a star early on in these first 2 innings. His breaking stuff has been good. It's been deceptive. He's been getting ahead in counts. His fastball has had good life as well. Already 3 strikeouts through the first 7 batters he's seen. We'll see if he can feast on the bottom of Whitey's order and take care of business before they get to see him a second time.
Absolutely, and now in the top of the third for YD, we have Brandon Huth, Will Ricketts, and then it'll flip over to the top of the order and Noah Myers. Huth steps in from the left side, awaits the first pitch. First pitch from Farrell misses down and out for ball 1. Huth is a sophomore out of St. Joseph's from Spring Lake, New Jersey. Swings through the second pitch for strike 1, even things up at 1-1.
Oh, Aram, this is one of the great traditions you're going to be introduced to at Lowell Park this summer. You can see Al Gladstone going up and down the left field grandstand with, or the third baseline grandstand, I should say, with the Kettles.
Ball's grounded right back at Farrell as he jogs over to first, flips it over for out number 1.
Nicely done by Farrell to get the leadoff batter. As I was saying, the donations, this is the 50-50 raffle, I beg your pardon. It's the 50-50 raffle. You put a sum of money in the kettle, and then they announce it, I think, in the 7th inning, and you could go home a winner. So that's what we got here on opening day, first of 22 for the regular season.
Can broadcasters get in on this?
I think you can. I think one time Martha actually bought us like a 10-pack of tickets.
The first pitch to Will Ricketts, the 9-hitter, is a slider that misses away. Ricketts a shortstop, bats 9th. Noah Myers looms on deck. Ricketts strides back in as Farrell takes a little walk around the mound, takes a deep breath, and gets ready to deal the 1-1. 1 away here in the top of the third. We're still scoreless. The 1-1 is a slider swung through and missed. Farrell's ahead now 1-2. He's shown an excellent ability with a 3-pitch mix so far.
Yeah, and I don't think he's gotten behind a batter yet, Arm.
Maybe 1, if that. Farrell way ahead now, 1-2. It's a fastball that just misses up and out. Rickett asks where that missed. Usually it's a pitcher that asks that, but Rickett wants to know the strike zone a little bit. I think even he knows that might have been too close to take. Regardless, that'll even things up here at 2-2. Farrell winds up and deals the 2-2. It's a check swing, and he did go. The throw over to first from Kessler is in time, and that's out number 2. Farrell continues to mow through these YD hitters. His 4th strikeout already with just 2 away in the top of the third. As the top of the order will come back up, it's Noah Myers, the center fielder.
Yeah, he's been keeping the hitters off balance, fooling them. Just a lot of good movement and action on his stuff. Even his fastball's got a little action and movement. Really lively early on.
First pitch to Myers is a chopper out to shortstop by Oviedo, flips it on over to first. It's picked by the first baseman in time. Great pick by Mason Dodd to get the runner Noah Myers by a half step. We'll be back in the bottom of the third as Cotuit tries to draw first blood. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to Lowell Park. Arm Layton alongside Sam Niederman, my partner. Back to the top of the order for Cotuit. We got the scary Nick Gonzalez with Araj Anu on deck, and then Adam Oviedo. First pitch of Gonzalez misses up and out. He swung at the first pitch in his first at-bat, so we weren't able to get into his accomplishments. Golden Spikes Award finalist, 776 slugging percentage, which is absurd, and he led the nation in batting average. We briefly touched on that. The 1-0 misses in the dirt, 2-0. Gonzalez way ahead here of Beller.
Yeah, Aram, we've talked about this guy I don't know how many times in the build-up to this opening day. National batting champion, a .432 batting average, was a part of a lethal New Mexico State lineup.
The 2-0 is fouled over the first base dugout for strike one.
And the other thing, too, is that Gonzalez is exciting. I mean, he is electrifying when he gets on base. We saw him get on base in the scrimmage against Lexington on Saturday. He can fly. He's a speedster. Good glove at second. A little short, but I think that doesn't detract from him at all. He carries himself so well. Carries himself like the All-American honor that he earned this past year.
2-1's fouled over to the third base side this time, and it'll even things up at 2-2. Good job by Beller to fight back against Gonzalez. He fits that Dustin Pedroia mold a little bit. That 5-tool, packs a pop, can run, good with the glove. A lot to be excited about if you're Cotuit or a Cotuit fan.
I think that's a brilliant comparison, my friend. I think he could be the core piece that this team builds around this year.
The 2-2 is a fastball that misses just out and away. Actually might have been a backdoor slider. Gonzalez lays off of that, and we'll have it full here with no outs in the bottom of the third. Beller quickly gets into his windup for the payoff pitch. Another backdoor slider that misses off the plate away, and Nick Gonzalez will take his first base.
Well, we saw him do that on Saturday against Lexington. He worked a couple of walks, and that's a great sign. He's not afraid to be patient, and you're going to have to be patient in this league. The arm talent he's going to see will be an upgrade from what he saw on the WAC with New Mexico State. That's not to disrespect his numbers or anything, but he's going to have to be a little more patient and selective, and he clearly has demonstrated he's ready to do that.
I think when you put up numbers like he has, you're used to people pitching around you. Now, Araj Anu will take the first pitch down and away for ball one. Anu, a really interesting prospect we briefly touched on in his first at-bat. Drafted twice. 27th round out of high school, goes to junior college, or community college rather. Gets drafted in the 16th round by the Red Sox this past week. The 1-0 is popped straight up in the air. We'll see if it stays in play as the catcher, Adam Kerner, goes back, but it's out of play.
I think pop flies are going to be a little tough to track today with the overcast sky. The ball kind of just blends in with the clouds the way they're shaded today.
It's a high sky, very white, about the same color as the ball. We'll see if it ends up being a factor as we get to the twilight time a little bit. So 1-1 to the big righty Anu right now. He's a switch hitter, but from the right side. 1-1 gets the bottom half of the strike zone right there, 1-2.
And that's the other thing. If you're joining us for the first time this season, Lowell Park does not have lights, so that's why we start at 5 p.m., and you got to get them in quick because the sun's going to be setting before you know it.
The 1-2 to Anu. Slider that misses inside, even things up at 2-2. Yeah, the pace of this game so far by both pitchers is conducive to beating the dark. So we're 2-2 to Anu, no outs. Runner on first is Gonzalez here in the bottom of the third. The 2-2 swung through by Anu for strike three. As Beller gets a big out here in the bottom of the third. As Adam Oviedo, the shortstop, will look to put a ball in play after striking out looking his first at bat.
Yeah, a good curveball by Beller to come back and get a much-needed out with Gonzalez on first. Interested to see what Mike Roberts dials up here with Gonzalez at first running with his speed.
Oviedo struck out looking in his first at-bat on a borderline call he was not happy with. Gave a few words to the home plate umpire, Jeff Merzel. First pitch is a strike as Beller gets ahead once again. Oviedo, the shortstop, sure-handed shortstop out of TCU. Already seen him make a couple plays out there up the middle. Beller kicks and deals, misses outside with a slider.
Yeah, great to see Ovi back here in Cotuit for a second season. He was such a great clubhouse presence last year. you could see the potential. And he came out just after finishing his freshman year of college, so he's done a lot of growing in the last 365 days, and we'll see how much of it over the course of the next 2 months.
1-1's fouled over the first base dugout, make things 1-2.
I mean, you look at the numbers that he put up in the Cape last year, they're definitely not that eye-popping. 197 batting average, had 3 home runs and a total of 12 RBI, but those numbers made him better, and it showed improvement this past spring with TCU, and he's just going to keep on climbing.
The 1-2 misses outside, leaving things up at 2-2. And the Kettleers clearly thought a lot of Oviedo to bring him back this summer. I think they know he's going to build off of that, and as a freshman in the Cape Cod League, that's very rare. We talked about it. Maybe 5-10% of the guys out here are freshmen coming off their freshman year. So Oviedo now a seasoned veteran after 1 year, getting ready to bounce back after that year as he fouls the 2-2 straight back, and will do it one more time.
Yeah, he came here last year with his fellow TCU teammate Zach Humphreys, who was the Kettleers' primary catcher a year ago and actually ended up being an all-star. But now Ovi, I think, has developed a good bond with Nick Gonzalez as the middle infield duo. I'm excited to see how they work together defensively.
I'm feeling a lot of double plays.
Mm-hmm.
And that pitch is a backdoor curveball that freezes Oviedo looking again. That's 2 strikeouts for Oviedo, both looking. That'll bring up the big power-hitting catcher, Kessler, who is waiting to take his shin guards off. Of course, one of those things where it's meant to save time, but sometimes it ends up not saving time. It's like a shortcut that is actually longer.
Yeah, it's the old Little League move where sometimes the guys don't know how to put on the gear as fast, so they just have it on while they're getting ready to bat, and you hope that you don't have to do one or the other too fast.
So Kessler singled in his first at-bat and takes a big hack at the first pitch and fouls it straight back.
We're going to see good things from this young man this year. He carries himself with a certain swagger and confidence, and he's got the build to just drive the baseball and be an athlete out there. Not only can he play catcher, but we've seen him take reps at third base.
And he's a bat that Coach will want to keep in the lineup, so he'll play all over as that ball's lifted out into left center. Brandon Huth ranges over, camps under it, and makes the grab for out number 3. We're still scoreless through 3. We'll be back in the top of the 4th for YD's 4th chance to try and scrape into the run column. You're listening to Cotuit Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to Lowell Park on a beautiful opening day. A little overcast, but 65 and can't complain. Rain's supposed to hold off until tonight. Tomorrow will be up in the air, but Aram Layton alongside Sam Niederman. We're still scoreless here in the top of the fourth. We'll see who's going to strike first. Both pitchers have looked sharp as the first pitch misses down and away for ball one.
Yeah, it's starting with Chris Farrell here on the mound for Cotuit. 3 scoreless innings. Hasn't allowed a hit, just walked 1 batter and has struck out 4.
The 1-0 is swung through and missed to even things up at 1-1. Both pitchers are just locked in. Not something you expect to see early in the season, but sometimes they're just rolling off the momentum from the regular season at school and just keep it rolling straight into the Cape. The 1-1 misses in the dirt, blocked by Kessler. 2-1.
Farrell had a really good spring. He's a 3-year career player at William & Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia. His career ERA around 4, but this year was his best yet. 22 appearances, 5-2 with a 2.58 earned run average and 6 saves.
Pitch is fouled off, make things 2-2. Kerner, a guy who already played in the Cape, he's a returner, had a great freshman year, struggled a lot his sophomore year, so looking to build upon what he did freshman year and try and turn around, get some momentum going into his junior year.
Yeah, and Scott Pickler going back to him as his starting catcher after he was with YD last season.
Pitch misses down and away. We'll get things full here. No outs in the top of the fourth. YD yet to get in the hit column, as Cotuit has 3 hits of their own, hoping to get in the run column. Pitcher's duel so far. The payoff pitch is swung through and missed. Strike 3 as Farrell continues to mow down these YD hitters. 1 away in the top of the fourth.
That's his 5th. Huge.
5 strikeouts for Farrell.
Well, the key has been getting the leadoff batter arm. He's now done that in all 4 innings that he's pitched in so far.
And he's gotten ahead of every single batter. It's been incredible to see so far. That'll bring up Jack Wold, the sophomore out of UNLV, who crushes one out to right. Back is Kim towards the wall, and that's up in the trees. Home run for Jack Wold, and we'll finally have a run so far here in opening day. An absolute bomb to right by the UNLV sophomore, and it is 1-0 YD. Why not knock out the hit and the run all in one?
Wow, Jack Wold just barreled that thing up. He got it all on the meat of the bat, and it disappeared into the woods of right field. Chris Farrell has pitched a pretty darn good game to this point, but that was his only mistake, and unfortunately in baseball, sometimes it only takes one, and it's 1-0 YD.
And welcome to the Cape Cod League. You can be on all game long. You missed with 1 pitch, and they will make you pay. But it's important to refocus, recapture the strike zone. Fortunately, the mistake only cost 1 run. So that's lined out to the second baseman, Gonzalez, who doesn't have to move. Catches it right at his chest. It's a loud out, number 2. That brings up the DH, Austin Wells, hitting from the left side. A little bit of a shift as the second baseman Gonzalez drops back to the shallow right field. As the first pitch misses down and away for ball 1. As Gonzalez now moves in, as I said that. Coach Roberts is not afraid to shift. Certain lefties, he'll slide guys over. The 1-0 misses down and away, 2-0.
Casey Schmidt at third base is playing shaded towards short. There's a lot of room down the left field line past third. Last year, that was something the Kettleers fiddled with in the playoffs and late in the season. I'm interested to see how much they use it here in 2019.
Wells going into his sophomore year out of Arizona. Out of Las Vegas, out of the powerhouse Bishop Gorman, typically known as a football school, but they pump out some talent for baseball as well.
Yeah, Las Vegas is a hotbed. Remember, Dante Williams for Cotuit is a Las Vegas kid. Bishop Gorman, a big school. Snoop Dogg's son went there and played football, 4-star recruit. Wells has a lot of upside. He's one of the more notable prospects in this league.
One of the young studs we talked about, rare freshman. He's proven that he belongs here. The 1-2 misses up and out, or the 2-1 rather. It's now 3-1 to the power hitting Wells. He led the Division I all freshmen in runs with 73 and hit 353. The 3-1 gets the top of the strike zone to make things full. Wells started walking towards first base, thought it was ball 4.
He just asked, where's that at? Jeff Merzell behind home plate.
Among the accolades, Wells was an all-conference honorable mention, started all 56 games for Arizona. The payoff pitch misses in the dirt. That's a lot of respect Farrell's showing for Wells. Did not want to give in 3-2. Would rather take his chances with Wyatt Young, the second baseman out of Honolulu, Hawaii. Young, as we mentioned, stands at just 5'7", but can strike the ball at all parts of the field. Really pesky player. Great glove out at second base and a tough strikeout.
Yeah, he's from Pepperdine, too, which traditionally sends a few guys out to the Cape each season. A native of Hawaii. He got on with the walk, the fielder's choice his last time up.
Now Kessler goes out to talk to his pitcher Farrell and now retreats back to home plate. We're keeping track of defensive conferences now in the Cape Cod League, something we're seeing across baseball as part of the Pick Up the Pace initiative. Not sure what the rules are. We're going to have to brush up on that, on how many conferences you get, but there's the first one. We'll tally that away here. It's a quick pickoff to first base is not in time. So 2 outs in the top of the 4th here. Whitey was finally able to draw first blood. Now there's a man on first, 2 away, and Wyatt Young awaits the first pitch of the at-bat. First pitch to Young is taken up and out for ball 1.
I think it's a big spot in the game here, Arm. Kettleers want to get out of this inning with minimal damage, keep it 1-0. Chris Farrell needs to recalibrate and just pick it up and let the offense take care of it. They've been seeing the ball relatively well against John Beller.
The 1-0 to Young's grounded out to the first baseman Dodd, who sprints over to first base and gets there just in time for out number 3. Kettleers will look to get one back here and try to tie the game up in the bottom of the 4th. You are listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to beautiful Lowell Park on opening day. The Kettleers have the middle of the order coming up as Casey Schmidt strides in, followed by Gun Young Kim and Mason Dodd. The first pitch is taken down and away for ball 1. Schmidt, a two-way guy this past year for San Diego State, put up great numbers, 315, 5 home runs, drove in 36, picked up 8 saves as the team's closer with a 2.28 ERA. The 1-0's swung on and hit up the middle for a base hit as he rounds first base and slowly retreats back to the bag. That's a base hit for Casey Schmidt.
Attaway, good start, Casey Schmidt. Classic little ground ball right back up the box. 4th hit of the game for the Kettleers. They've out-hit Whitey so far. It's just a timely hit by Jack Wold, the home run of the last half inning that has been the difference.
Yep, the Kettleers have had the small ones. Whitey has the big one, and like you said, that is the difference. But we'll see what Coach Roberts decides to do here. Kim showed an ability to bunt in the exhibition. We know Coach Roberts likes to bunt. Maybe a hit and run. Something they'll probably be on knowing Coach Roberts. The first pitch of Kim, he squares to bunt and pops it up foul over to the third base side.
Nice call. Just didn't have the execution. Pushed it a little bit, had it up in the air, and luckily it wasn't playable for the third baseman and Tirada to try and make a play on it.
Well, they always say if you're going to miss foul when you're bunting for a hit, sacrifice, it's kind of the same thing. You have one to give away. Now the priority is to put it in place. He squares early. Pulls back, but it's in the dirt as he runs on over to first, and Schmidt's in there. So Kim doesn't even have to bunt here. Might have shielded the catcher a little bit with in his eyes with the early square. Now you got a left-handed hitter up, man on second. All he's got to do is pull a ground ball to the right side. We'll see if Coach Roberts keeps the bunt on for Kim.
Yeah, great situation for the Kettleers with Schmidt getting the leadoff hit. Now he's in scoring position. Job for Kim to hit behind the base runner, and he's a very capable hitter. 2 seasons at Portland. His most recent season before he transferred to Boise State, .268 batter with 3 homers and 17 ribbies.
And he squares again. So pitcher Beller picks off to second. It's a classic move we'll see. Pitcher likes to kick that leg up and pick off over to second to see if Kim will give away the bunt. He did, and he's not afraid to give it away as he squares early once again. The 1-1. Pulls it back again. 2-1 to the left-handed hitting Kim. And you mentioned transferring to Boise State. Kim is part of that inaugural Boise State team. I guess not inaugural because they did exist before, but it's been 20-plus years since the team has competed at a Division I level, and now they're back.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. First team since 1980, and he's one of the original members to commit to it.
2-1 is bunted right through. It's now 2-2. It's like Kim stabbed at it a little bit. Roberts, I'm sure, is going to have his guys practicing bunting throughout the season. It's obviously really early into the year. So now 2 strikes. We'll see if Coach Roberts keeps the bunt on or if he'll let Kim swing away. 2 strikes, 2 outs, or 2 strikes, 2 balls, none away here in the bottom of the 4th as the bunt is still on as he slashes and pulls it back. It's now 3-2. Coach Roberts keeping everyone on their toes right now.
Yeah, the pressure's on. This is what I love about the small ball. You put the pressure on, you get the infield moving a little bit, corner shading down.
So now a full count to Gun-Young Kim with Casey Schmidt on second. He squares one more time to bunt. Pulls it back and swings and hits it over to the shortstop who fields it on a hop, bobbles it, and Kim will be in there with an infield single. The slash is a lost art in baseball, and Kim showed a great ability to do it there on a 3-2 pitch. Had the shortstop Will Pickett's drawn in a little bit, hit it into the 5-6 hole. Pickett's was able to field it on a hop, but Kim was running down the first base line, tried to rush the throw, and he couldn't even get a throw off.
Yeah, they credited it as an infield hit, and that was the old Butcher Boy play. He pulled it back, did a little bit of the slash, and was able to hit a moderate ground ball to short, but Pickett's was coming in, and it took him off balance, so he lost it. And Schmidt had the wherewithal to stay put at second, knowing that the ball hit to the left side would have put him in danger had he committed to running to third. So Kettleers with a great opportunity. First and second, nobody out, and Mason Dodd at the plate.
First and second, none away, in the power hitting first baseman Mason Dodd. He squares 2, takes it for ball 1. Nobody is impervious to the bunt on this Cotuit Kettleers lineup. Coach Roberts has shown that. You could be the biggest power hitter on the team, and if it's a situation where he wants to sacrifice, he will. Because Dodd is a guy, like we mentioned, 15 home runs at the Division II Belmont Abbey, a former football player, a big, strong dude. But Coach Roberts wants to get 2 guys in scoring position here, and it makes sense with Cam Hill on deck. The 1-0 to Dodd. He squares and pulls it back one more time. 2-0. see some pitchers can get a little bit out of kilter when guys are squaring around. Sometimes it's so hard to just play catch with the catcher when you have the guy squaring around early. Seems like it's gotten in the head of Beller a little bit, as for the first time in this game, he seemed to kind of lose the strike zone.
Yeah, he absolutely has. It's a great way to put it, Arm. And now Dodd's in the driver's seat.
Way ahead 2-0. He squares again and bunts it over to the third baseman, Terada, who throws it over to first just in time to get Dodd. So executed to perfection. Runners on second and third. One away here as the Kettleer fans applaud Dodd for the selfless act of bunting over the two runners into scoring position.
Great job by Mason Dodd on that sacrifice. This is exactly what Mike Roberts has been working on with his team throughout this entire week leading up to the season. The small ball, the bunting technique, fundamentals of base running. And Dodd did his job there with the 2-0 count, pressed it up the third base side. Both base runners had good jumps, and Dodd was able to get it into scoring position now for Cam Hill.
Big opportunity for Cam Hill here now with one out, two men in scoring position in the bottom of the fourth, as he calls time and regroups. Kettleers looking to tie it up here. Infield is playing back, the corner's slightly in. Anything up the middle or in the air to the outfield should score a run. The first pitch is taken in the dirt for ball one. Good job by Kerner to block that. Cam Hill, the Kentucky Wildcat, a junior, hit .248 this past season. 10 doubles and 10 stolen bases, can run a little bit. Right here, all he has to do is put the ball in play, and we'll have a tie game here. 1-0 to the left-handed hitting Hill. Pitch is lined right by the dugout for strike one, way ahead of that changeup. Got to watch out there if you're in the YD dugout. Some of the guys hanging over the fence, a little close, too close to call there. So we got one ball, one strike, one away, and two men on in the bottom of the fourth. Cotuit has scattered 5 hits so far with nothing to show for it. The 1-1, curveball taken inside for strike two. Beller way ahead of Hill here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Beller obviously going for the strikeout here. Really big second out it would be if he's able to get it without the ball being put in play. As Hill chokes up. Grounds it over to first base as a diving play by Jack Ward, who throws it over to home, but it's not going to be made in time. That's the first run for the Kettleers today. A ball just down the line, barely able to tell if it was fair or foul. The umpire calls it fair. Ward dives, gets up, was able to tag first base and throws it over to home, tried to make the double play, but it was nearly an impossible play for Ward. Great job to even keep the ball in the infield. He saved a run.
Yeah, he almost had a chance at that double play, but the Kettleers will take it. He lunged over to first, actually dove on the bag in the process to get Hill for the first out of that sequence, and then was trying to get the final out of the inning at home plate, but made a wide throw to Kerner, allowing Schmidt to score. So Kettleers have tied it up 1-1 here in the bottom of the fourth.
First pitch to the Arizona Wildcat, Dante Williams, is taken down and away. Another Las Vegas guy. That's where the small ball comes in handy. YD hits a home run. Simple as that. 1 home run, 1 run. Kettleers need 5 hits and some bunts to get on the board. Nonetheless, we're tied 1-1 as Cam Williams takes the second pitch for ball 2, 2-0. So, Gun Young Kim stands on third base, hoping to be the go-ahead run here in the bottom of the fourth. It'll take a base hit to score him. Pitch hits Cam Williams right on the elbow guard, and he'll take first base. It'll flip things back around to the top of the order. Not what John Beller wanted there. You probably wanted to go after Cam Williams. Now he's got to face the Golden Spikes finalist, reigning batting champion in the NCAA, Nick Gonzalez.
Yeah, that's why you wear the elbow guard for one, and Dante Williams did a good job to hang in there and wear it.
Talk about point of emphasis in baseball all around. College baseball has tried to put an end to players leaning in, and we've seen a couple borderline calls through the college regional and college super regionals of guys that umpires perceive as kind of sticking that elbow out or sticking the leg out, and you get a bruise and nothing to show for it because now they'll call it a strike.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It's a changing game. Baseball is just changing in a lot of different ways. You talked about the defensive conferences kind of being limited now as like the timeout, and Dante Williams was able to get the benefit of the call there. He definitely got him on the elbow, and now the first mound visit of the ball game. Scott Pickler goes out to talk with his lefty and John Beller and try and calm things down. The small ball has gotten him out of sorts in this inning. I like the direction by Mike Roberts, and what's been even better has been the execution by these players. Remember, it was Casey Schmidt who started with the single, but then the slash play by Kim, and then the sacrifice by Dodd, and that's about all she wrote. The RBI ground out by Cam Hill is very fundamental, just keeping it in the infield. None of these hits have been anything flashy. Every single bat the Kettleers have put on the ball today, not many of them have had much, so it's good to see the Kettleers have used a different way of getting back into this game to tie it 1-1.
And YD's actually going to go to the bullpen. We'll see who the new pitcher is. We'll go to a quick break as he warms up, and that'll do it for John Beller. The final line for him will be next as we go into a quick commercial break. So welcome back to Lowell Park. We're in the bottom of the fourth, 2 away here. The new pitcher for YD is Chase Smith out of Pittsburgh in Marietta, Georgia. Went to Pope High School. He's a righty. They probably brought in to face Nick Gonzalez, and we'll give you the final line on John Beller. 3 2/3, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 1 hit batter, 3 strikeouts, and he was able to scatter 5 hits, but he is responsible for the runners on first and third in Kim and Williams. As now Nick Gonzalez steps up to face the right-handed pitching Chase Smith. Smith boasted a 3.16 ERA as a freshman, striking out 20 in 31 innings pitched. As a sophomore, 4-6 with a 2.72 ERA, and led the team in appearances with 33. Mostly was the closer for the team with 5 saves. Now Gonzalez looks to put the Kettleers ahead here in the bottom of the fourth with 2 away. Williams takes a big shuffle step, and they're going to call a balk. And the Kettleers are ahead now in the most unconventional way possible. Looks like Williams took a huge shuffle step off of first base, was able to startle Chase Smith just enough for him to balk home the run. So now the Kettleers have scored 2 runs in this inning, with the only ball leaving the infield being Casey Schmidt's leadoff single.
Oh my, that was unbelievable. Well, the Kettleers will take it, a balk to take the lead.
First pitch to Gonzalez is swung through, fouled straight back for strike 1.
And you gotta love it. Mike Roberts has got to love this inning. His team has basically shown off every little wrinkle that he likes to employ throughout this entire summer with the small ball. Base running, base lead, a slash, a bunt, a single, really good stuff.
Pitch is grounded out to the shortstop Pickett, who fields it on a hop, throws it on over to first to Wold, and just beats the hustling Gonzalez for out number 3, but not before Cotuit scores 2 runs. Cotuit now has the lead 2-1 over YD. We will be back in the top of the 5th with my buddy Sam Niederman on the call. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Hello again from Cotuit, top of the 5th inning, and the Kettleers have the lead, 2-1 over the YD Red Sox. Cotuit posts up 2 in the bottom of the 4th inning on some small ball. RBI ground out by Cam Hill, and a balk brought in the second run and the go-ahead run in Gun-Young Kim. So now it's 2-1 Kettleers. Top 5, and YD sends up 7, 8, and 9. Suttleston, Huth, and Pickett's against the right-hander Chris Farrell. Righty's first pitch is off the plate, 1 ball, no strikes. Farrell has worked 4 scoreless so far. He's only allowed 1 hit, and that was a solo home run to Jack Wold in his last inning of work. Offense picked him up in the last half inning. He's got a 1-run cushion. Suttleston 0 for 1 with a strikeout today, and he golfs a fastball high and deep to left center field. Williams at the fence, and he's got just enough room to make the grab for out number 1. A well-struck ball by Jack Suttleston, but instead it stays in the ballpark. And Farrell gets the leadoff batter for the 5th consecutive time in this ball game. 1 down and nobody on for Brendan Huth. Time called on the diamond. Mike Roberts comes out of the dugout on the third base side and motions to his bullpen in left field. It looks like that'll be it for Chris Farrell on the mound today. He works the first out of this 5th inning. Mike Roberts walks out and meets with the entire infield and the catcher Colton Kessler. And a new pitcher trots out of the dugout, the bullpen down in left field. We'll get to that pitching change on the other side of this break. Kettleers 2 and YD 1 here in the top of the 5th inning with 1 out. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball. Top 5, new pitcher on for the Kettleers. It's Matt Moore, a left-hander out of Purdue, who is making his first appearance on the season. 1 out and nobody aboard, and he's got Brendan Huth at the plate, and he throws in ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. 1 out and nobody on. Chris Farrell worked the first 4 1/3 innings of this game. Only allowed 1 run on the 1 hit. That was Jack Wold's home run. Two balls and no strikes to Huth. More kicks and deals. Pitch swung on and popped up behind second base. Adam Oviedo's got it. 2 away. Moore looked pretty good in the scrimmage against the Lexington Blue Sox. He came on and worked a scoreless inning. 6'3", 220 pounds, a redshirt junior from Avon, Indiana, on the west side in Hendricks County, just outside of Indianapolis. 2 down, nobody aboard, and here's Will Picketts. Right-handed batting shortstop, 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. Pitch 1, high and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Infield at normal depth. Same thing with the outfield. 1-0 is a little tapper to second. Gonzalez boots it off the heel of his glove, unable to make the play. Pickett safe at first. Scored as an E4 at home on Nick Gonzalez. And Whitey has a base runner with 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning.
Of course, that's an error, but that's underratedly a tough play. I don't know if you could hear it from home. We do our best with the crowd mic, but that bat totally broke off the end. Sometimes can give you a wicked spin, and it looks like that's exactly what happened to Gonzalez, who had to come in and charge hard. And that ball was probably doing a tornado spin towards him. Sometimes those balls are the hardest to field.
Got a pinch hitter for Whitey here. Top of the order should be Noah Myers due up, but instead, one of the dangerous pinch hitters from South Carolina, and Andrew Eister comes to the plate. 6'3", 210 pounds, a junior from Ocala, Florida, and he bats from the right side. Runner on first and Picketts after the error, 2 down. Eister, a former JUCO player at Santa Fe College in Florida. He was a JUCO All-American, just finished up his first season with South Carolina. And he takes a curveball for strike 1. Hit .309 with the Gamecocks, 10 home runs, 32 RBI in 50 games, and 47 starts.
This is one of my favorite guys on the YD roster. I think he could be really dangerous and probably an everyday bat, even though he didn't start today. Probably one of the better power bats on the YD squad.
Moore looks over to first, nothing doing. Head first slide by Picketts. Kettleers 2 and YD 1, top of the 5th inning. 2 down and a pinch hitter, and Eister at the plate. Played in the Valley League last summer, one of the oldest wood bat leagues in the country, and he hit over 400 with 9 home runs and 35 driven in. Moore kicks and deals, 0-1. Curveball, that's in there. No balls and 2 strikes.
Eister, a guy who's been drafted twice, 27th round out of high school, and then the 32nd round just this past year out of Santa Fe, likely electing to go to college here in South Carolina.
2-1 Cotuit, top 5. Runner on first and Picketts, 2 outs, and Moore's 0-2. Hard fastball down and in, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kettleers at home in the white pinstripes, trimmed in maroon. Whitey in the road reds on white pants, trimmed in blue. Good opening day crowd here at Lowell Park. Grandstand on the third base side, filled up to capacity. Plenty of youngsters running around. Lots of lawn chairs down the left field line. Mike Roberts outside the third base dugout. 1-2, runner going, and Picketts waving a foul by Eister. And hopefully Colton Kessler's okay behind home plate. Looked like he took the brunt of that foul tip. Time called on the diamond. Jeff Merzell, the home plate umpire, goes out and gives Kessler a little bit of time. He drops down to his knees, and hopefully he's all right, stretching out his groin. It might have hit him on the front part of the thigh or the upper quad.
Probably the worst part of catching right there. It's a catcher's worst nightmare. Sometimes those foul tips will ricochet straight down. Not much you can do about that.
Matt Moore, the lefty out of Purdue, on the mound, relieving Chris Farrell. 2 outs in the 5th. Kettleers up 2-1. Picketts on first. 2 outs, and Moore posts up the right leg. Leg lift and a move over to first. Nothing doing. Picketts back in. Moore set again. And another throw to first. This time Picketts dives back in. Suttleston flew out to center to lead off the inning. Huth popped up to short. Picketts reached onto the air at second. Whitey's back at the top of their order, and Scott Pickler went into his bench for the South Carolina outfielder and Andrew Eister. 1-2 to him. Sweeping breaking ball that doesn't hook back into the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kettleers took the lead in the bottom of the 4th. RBI ground out by Cam Hill. And then the go-ahead run scored on a balk. 2 outs, runner on. Matt Moore's 2-2. Breaking ball, whipped over to third, past a diving Schmidt, and into left field for a base hit. Pickett stops on the brakes at second, and Andrew Eister comes up with a pinch hit single into left to extend the inning for YD here in the 5th. Good at bat by Andrew Eister. He was able to get out in front of one and pull it on the left side. Good effort by Casey Schmidt at the hot corner and nearly laid out for it. His uniform is all covered in dirt now. It actually had been before that pitch. He had slid around the base paths running earlier today. Nevertheless, the inning continues for YD. Here's Adam Kerner, the catcher, 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. And before he steps in, time call behind home plate. Kessler wants to go out and talk with his lefty and Matt Moore. This ball game began with a couple of pitchers grooving early. It was Chris Farrell who went 4 1/3, only allowed a hit. He is not responsible for either of the runners on, so you can mark it down as a shutout for him in his first career start with Cotuit. Walked a couple of batters and struck out 5. Matt Moore came out of the bullpen, got 1 out, and in the 3rd out was able to reach in an error in Pickett's, and then the base hit there just by Eister. Kessler wraps up his mound meeting. Justin Merzell behind home plate just said second defensive conference used for the Kettleers. And now Mike Roberts is going to go out there and mound visit and signal to the bullpen. So the Kettleers are going to make another pitching change in this inning. It's a game of matchups here in the top of the 5th. Matt Moore looks to come out after facing a couple of batters, and the Kettleers go to the pen for a new arm. We'll have that for you on the other side of this break. Kettleers 2, YD 1. You're listening to Cotuit Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to Cotuit. We've got a pitching change. Matt Moore is out and another left-hander is in. He's from last year. It's Joey Walsh out of Boston College who comes on. 6'1", a 245-pound redshirt junior from Plymouth, Mass. And he makes his first appearance on 2019 with 2 on and 2 out, and Adam Kerner at the plate. First pitch, a slider, down and in, ball 1. And we got a guest in the booth for the next inning and change. That is one Mr. Beck Way from Belmont Abbey College. My friend, thanks for joining me in the booth.
Thank you.
You doing all right? You enjoying this opening day?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm happy that we're winning, and I'm happy that our starter got out there and did what he needed to do. Let's see if we can get out of this.
Kerner, a bouncing ball to third. Schmidt, good throw. Good stretch by Dodd, your teammate over there at first, to get out of the inning. So Joey Walsh does his job. He faces one batter and retires the side. And YD leaves 2. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, or 1 error, and a couple left on base. We are through 4.5, and it is 2-1 Kettleers. We'll be back in just a moment. Beck Way joins us for the bottom of the 5th. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to Cotuit. Kettleers up 2-1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Kettleers coming to the plate with the heart of the order up. 2, 3, and 4 due up, sporting a 1-run lead. And we've got Beck Way in the booth with us again, my friend. We were cut off a little bit by Joey Walsh coming out of the bullpen and getting the job done. But happy opening day to you, and thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So how does it feel? You're from Mechanicsburg, PA, so not that far away, but you go to school at Belmont Abbey in D2, and you've got a great opportunity here on the Cape. How's it feel?
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting this opportunity. It wasn't really till the end of my sophomore year where I thought, I did have a chance to play here. So to actually be here and to be a part of this and to be part of the Cape experience, it's really special.
Arajanu steps up to the plate for the Kettleers here, number 2 batter in the lineup.
He has some serious pop.
Does he really?
Yeah.
He's 1 for 2 with a hard-hit single today and a strikeout. Community college transfer heading to Kentucky this upcoming spring. He takes a breaking pitch for strike 1. Chase Smith is on the mound for YD, by the way. Right-hander out of Pitt, 6'2", 180, a junior from Marietta, Georgia. He works out of the stretch. 0-1, down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. So you're a pitcher, obviously. What are you featuring when you get out on the mound? What's in your arsenal of pitches?
I got a fastball. It's 2-seam tail to it. I got a slider and I got a changeup.
So which one's your favorite to throw?
I like throwing the slider because I like seeing the hitters swing and miss. That's got to be my favorite part about that pitch.
How long have you been playing baseball for?
I've been playing baseball since I'm about 6 years old. Getting into it at a really young age and sticking to it.
Swing and a miss by Anu. He goes down swinging. Yeah, that's the first out here in the home half of the 5th.
I played football growing up too, so it was between football and baseball. And it wasn't until high school where I decided that baseball was something that I wanted to play and play at the next level.
So you've grown up in PA your whole life then?
Yeah, PA, born and raised.
Who are your teams then?
Philadelphia Phillies.
Nice.
Huge Bryce Harper fan.
Yeah, that was a big get, but
yeah.
So far, what do you think?
It takes a while to sell in at Citizens Bank, especially with our fans. We're kind of intense.
Yeah, the Philly fans.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine playing there.
Oh, yeah.
With our fans.
They're crazy. Are you an Eagles fan?
Not an Eagles fan.
Really?
Steelers.
Okay, how does that work? Is it just like you choose, or you kind of just equidistant to both? Or?
So where I am 3 hours from Pitt, 3 hours from Philly. So for me, I feel like I could choose that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's probably the better one to choose out of the two.
Yeah.
I don't know how the Steelers are going to do this fall, though.
I don't know. It's a mess right now for them.
Yeah, I think Big Ben's retiring after this coming year. I think he wanted to retire the other year, didn't he?
Yeah. They got him back, though.
Yeah, and Le'Veon Bell is gone, obviously. Antonio Brown is gone. So the Killer Bees broke up.
Yep.
But the Phillies are doing all right. They're not in first place, are they? Or they are? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ground ball from Adam Oviedo. Taken by Terada at third, 2 down. We've got Beck Way joining us in the booth. Belmont Abbey pitcher, first year with the Kettleers. Great to have him here in Cotuit experiencing opening day. Have you been to the Coop yet?
I have been to the Coop.
Okay, what do you think?
That was recommended by the coaching staff and past players here. The Coop is a great place. Their sandwiches are good. Great people there. It's great people here in Cotuit, too. That's one thing about Cotuit that I like here. The people around this area are very nice.
Oh, yeah. It's a classic area, man.
Yeah.
You'll love it this summer.
Fans are great. Host parents are great.
Nice. Where are you living at right now?
I'm living in Centersville with Stacy and Chris Rogers.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, host family shout out on the air, the Rogers family. Colton Kessler at the plate now. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's 2-1 Kettleers here in the bottom of the 5th. 2 out, nobody aboard. Beck Way joining us in the booth. Pitcher for the Kettleers this season. So, if you had to put down maybe a goal for this summer, what would it be? What are you working towards?
I want to win a championship here. I really do. And I think we have the guys. Like off of Saturday scrimmage is really what I'm basing off of in today's performance. I think we do have the guys.
Pop up by Kessler's down the left field line, drifting out of play, and it's foul. And he stays alive with 2 strikes. So you really think that this team's grooving already?
I think our arms, our starting arms and our bullpen arms have potential to take us really far. But, I mean, Cass, Schmidt, Dodd, I think those 3 power hitters. Our new guy from Kentucky, I think those 4 can really lead this offense.
What do you know about Mason from playing with him? What can you say about Mason Dodd as a baseball player?
I know Mason could compete. I know Mason, when it gets hard, it makes it seem easy for him, for sure. And for tougher pitching, he makes it seem easy. So I haven't not yet to see him with a wood bat in his hand, but in the the college season, he was really well.
He's done a good job today. Made a great defensive play over at first and then had that sacrifice.
Never seen him at first base before.
Really?
Yeah. He was our second baseman.
He's a good athlete, that's for sure.
Yeah. And he stays loose, which helps his game a lot.
Kessler swings and misses, and that'll end the inning. 3 up and 3 down for the Kettleers against Chase Smith out of the bullpen for YD. And that's the end of the 5th. Well, Beck Way, my friend, thank you for joining us here in the booth.
Thank
Always
you.
fun to chat, and welcome to Cotuit. I hope you have a great summer.
Thank you.
All righty. We'll see you around soon. Do you think, would you ever want to come back again?
I'm coming back next summer for
All
sure.
right. I love it, my friend. Love it. We'll see you soon. That's
you.
Beck Way, right-handed pitcher for the Kettleers. We have played 5, and it's 2-1 Cotuit. You're listening to Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Welcome back to Cotuit. We have the first pitch to Jack Wold, who homered in his second at bat rather. An absolute bomb to right field. Got out of here in a hurry. Was about halfway up the trees out there, just past the 360 area in right field. The 1-0 is taken on the outside corner for strike one. Even things up at 1-1. Cotuit's ahead 2-1 here in the top of the seventh. They've scattered 5 hits while YD just has 2, but the 1 home run has been valuable so far. That ball misses in the dirt and gets to the backstop. Now 2-1 to the power hitting Wold. The 2-1 to the left-handed hitters. Absolutely launched foul. About 400 feet the wrong way. He'll look to try and straighten that out this time. Came off the bat about just as hard as that home run in the 5th inning. None away here in the top of the 7th. Wold awaits the 2-2. It's flied out to left field. Hill under it and makes the grab easily. 1 away.
Good job by Joey Walsh. He faced one batter in the last half inning and was able to get the job done, but an easy job to get Jack Wold there to start off the 6th and make it happen, getting the leadoff batter.
So now we bring up Austin Wells, the DH. First pitch is grounded up to Nick Gonzalez, who fields it on a hop, throws it over to the first baseman Dodd for out number 2. Nick's the 6th inning, rather. I've been going off the scoreboard. That's my mistake. So that'll bring up Wyatt Young, second baseman for YD. Sophomore out of Pepperdine. First pitch is a curveball that misses up, ball 1. Pitch is grounded over to first base, just foul on the first base side. 1-1. Wells steps back in and awaits the 1-1. 2 away here, top of the 6th. The 1-1 nips the outside corner for strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 1-2 is a fastball on the outside corner. The home plate umpire actually flinched there, did Jeff Merzel. Looked like he wanted to ring him up, but he stopped himself, so.
He's like that outside corner today.
Yeah, he looked like he wanted to call it there, but held himself up. So now 2-2, 2 outs here. And it's swung through and missed for strike 3, and we'll go into the bottom of the 6th. Cotuit will look to expand upon its 2-1 lead. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. First pitch to the third baseman Schmidt's taken down and away for ball one. Schmidt was the rally starter for that two-run Cotuit inning in the fourth that was able to get them on the board, hit a line drive single up the middle, and then the rest was just small ball. Scored 2 runs without another ball leaving the infield. Schmidt takes it inside there, 2-0. Way ahead is the third baseman. The 2-0 to Schmidt, swung on and fouled just past the third base line. Make things 2-1.
Casey Schmidt's played a really good ball game today. You mentioned the base hit earlier, Aram. He's sold out in the field, has done a great job defending.
Well, the dirty jersey will show you that. And he's a guy, like we've mentioned, can do everything. He's going to pitch for the Kettleers. He's going to hit. Maybe even can close some ball games as he fouls off another one towards the third base dugout. It'll even things up at 2-2.
He looks like the kind of guy that could wreak havoc for another team just by his effort.
Schmidt gets back in and awaits the 2-2. That's swung on and missed. Curveball up. That Schmidt swings right through for out number 1. So that'll bring up the left-handed hitting right fielder, Gun-Young Kim. As we'll have another pitching change. YD coach will go to his bullpen one more time. We'll get the final line for the past YD pitcher when we come back. Welcome back to Lowell Park. We got a new pitcher for YD. It's Legend Smith out of Oklahoma, a junior, left-handed pitcher. A native of Oklahoma, went to Binger One High School. 27 appearances this past year, pitched to a 3.66 ERA, 19 strikeouts, and as many innings pitched.
Now it looks like the Kettleers are going to send up a pinch hitter to the face him and Colin Davis, infielder out of Wofford.
As Coach Roberts is playing the lefty-righty splits, we've seen him do it on the mound, and now we're seeing him do it at the plate. Colin Davis out of Wofford had a pair of hits in the exhibition match. We'll see if he can keep the momentum going here into opening day. First pitch to Davis is taken up for ball 1. Davis, a junior out of Wofford, hit .302 this past year, 7 home runs, drove in 41. The 1-0's taken down. Also swiped 11 bags. His father was a defensive back at the University of Alabama. Likely where the speed comes from for Colin Davis. The 2-0 to Davis. The fastball taken on the outside corner, strike 1. 2-1, 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Cotuit ahead 2-1 on 5 hits while the lone run for YD's on a solo shot. The 2-1 is fouled out over down the right field line and out of the reach of the right fielder Jake Suttleson. It'll make things 2-2. Suttleson jogs back to his position after he tossed the ball over to a young fan watching from the right field line. Legend Smith steps off, takes a few steps, gets right back on the rubber, and he's ready to deal the 2-2 to the pinch hitter, Colin Davis. He winds up, kicks and deals. Swung through and missed for strike 3 as the catcher tags him out. Does Kerner for out number 2. That'll bring up the Belmont Abbey product, Mason Dodd. As you heard his teammate just in the booth, Beck Way, also plays at Belmont Abbey, the Division II school. Dodd, likely one of the more powerful bats on this team, poked 15 homers this past season. First pitch is a 56-foot curveball that bounces into the chest of Adam Kerner for ball 1. Dodd, the important sacrifice bunt in his last at-bat, was able to move 2 runners into scoring position. The Kettleers were able to get both of those runners in, albeit in an unconventional way. The 1-0 is taken down for ball 2. Of course, we had the infield fielder's choice as the first baseman, Wold, dove and tagged first for the first out as a run came in. And then another run was balked in after Cam Williams was able to get the pitcher to stutter a little bit on the mound as that pitch is taken for a strike. 2-1. 2 gone here in the bottom of the 6th. The 2-1. Another fastball taken right down the middle. Make things 2-2. The 2-2 pitch is grounded out to the second baseman, Wyatt Young, who fields it on a hop, throws it over the first on the run, and gets him. Nice play by Wyatt Young for the 3rd out of the inning, and we'll be back in the top of the 7th as YD tries to climb back in and tie this thing up. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to beautiful Lowell Park. Aram Layton alongside Sam Niederman. We have a new pitcher. It's Joey Walsh, left-handed pitcher out of Boston College. Made 29 appearances for Boston College, 5 starts. First pitch is a fastball taken up and out for ball 1. 5-6 record, 6.35 ERA, and 56 2/3 innings pitched. Struck out 49. Missed 2017 with a torn flexor. Pitched with the Kettleers last season. The 1-0. taken for strike one as Young squares and pulls it back. Nipped the outside corner. Walsh comes set and deals the 1-1. It's fouled over the third base dugout for strike two. Walsh way ahead to the left-handed hitting Young. Young's 0 for 2 on the day with a fielder's choice. Young, a native of Honolulu, Hawaii, the longest venture out of everyone on this team. Curveball taken inside for ball two. We're evened up at 2-2. Jake Suttleson, the Ivy League Player of the Year, waits on deck. And Brandon Huth after him in the hole. The 2-2 swung through and missed. Strike three for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Jake Suttleson out of Harvard University.
Well, Chris Farrell struck out 5 guys in his first 4 1/3 innings to start for the Kettleers. Now Joey Walsh has a pair of strikeouts. Kettleers have struck out 7 YD batters. And Cotuit has struck out 8 different times themselves at the plate against YD pitching. That's a common theme that you see early on in the season, guys trying to pick up on these arms they haven't seen, arms that they don't have much of a scout for either. Keep that in mind. That's such a big part of the college baseball process. So not too much offense today, that's for sure.
The second pitch is fouled off down the third base line. 0-2. Walsh way ahead. Yeah, and that's the thing that's amazing about the Cape Cod League is you're connecting players from all different parts of the country, all different conferences. Really puts them to the test and puts them through the gauntlet, like we always say. Walsh way ahead, 0-2 to Jake Suttleson, one of the few Ivy League players to come through the Cape Cod League. The 0-2's taken outside for ball one. Do you have any Harvard guys in the Cape Cod League off the top of your memory?
No. Can't really think of any. Of course,
one of the 1-2 misses up.
Arguably maybe the greatest ever to don the Cotuit Kettleer pinstripes was Ron Darling in 1980, Cape League MVP out of Yale, which is pretty crazy.
It's a long time ago, too. I think it's so different now with where most of these products are coming out of. As that ball is launched just foul out down the left field line. Probably had the distance, but was not able to keep it fair. He yanked that thing pretty far foul.
Not close enough to make it an LSU home run by the foul pole last night.
No review on that one, I don't think.
No replays of the Cape League either this year. That's funny.
The 2-2 with one away. It's taken up. We'll make things full here.
That was a big game last night. Florida State won. They did it.
A lot of upsets around the Super Regionals. UCLA getting knocked off by Michigan. We got a few teams that we didn't think would make it through here. Auburn knocking off UNC at UNC. It's been an exciting Super Regional as that pitch is fouled off again, and we'll do the payoff pitch one more time.
Yeah, that's actually really good news for Cotuit. So many Kettleers in waiting that should come here in the next couple of weeks. Guys that Cotuit would have banked on going to Omaha will come out a couple weeks early. So that'd be Joey Loperfido at Duke. You've got a player in Holden Powell, an All-American closer at UCLA, who has a week or so to regroup, and he can come back.
That ball's laced over the shortstop Ovieto's head for a base hit. And YD has something going for the first time since Wold hit the solo shot. Just their third hit of the ball game as Suttleson waits on first. And that'll bring up Brandon Huth, the left fielder.
Pretty crazy. The only other base hit is Andrew Eister's pinch hit single that came with a couple of outs in the fifth. It's a big part of the game for Joey Walsh and the Kettleers. Want to make sure you take care of business against the bottom of the order. Get yourself through 7 scoreless innings as a defense and keep that lead heading into stretch time.
That'll actually be the substitute, William Escala, the guy out of Miami, not too far from my own stomping grounds. Plays at the University of Miami. South Dade high school grad. So he takes the first pitch for a strike. The 0-1 to Escala swung through in the dirt. A nice changeup from Walsh, and he's way ahead, 0-2. Scala played a lot more his freshman year, started all 53 games for Miami. That was a much more thin University of Miami team who had reinforcements this year, one of the best offenses in the country. Still made 15 starts this past season, hit .257. The 0-2 to Escala is taken up and out. As Kessler looks over, was looking to maybe throw him out. We know Kessler's an aggressive guy at the plate. He's aggressive behind the dish, too. Loves to throw runners out, rather.
Yeah, I was thinking about the snap throw to first, but Dodd wasn't quite in position to catch.
And they'll get on the same page as the season goes along. Of course, we're only in day one. As the 1-2 swung through. Second strikeout of the inning for Joey Walsh. 2 away here for the 9-hitter Will Picketts.
Actually, it looks like they might be sending up a pinch hitter.
They are, and that pinch hitter is going to be Jeffrey Costello. We're getting to the part of the game where we're getting a little bit of shuffling all over. It is early, like we mentioned, a lot of temp guys. Coaches want to see what they have. Want to see what they have at their disposal. A lot of guys are going to get opportunities. A lot of guys are going to get some pinch hit opportunities to hit. Costello waits the first pitch from Joey Walsh, who comes set staring over at Stuttlefield at first. That's popped out into right center. That's back into right center. There gives chase, but it's going to fall off the wall. That'll bring home Suttleson. And Costello will dive into third base with a triple. Off the bat, did not look like it would carry that far. Kept going towards the wall, one-hop the wall, and Costello ties this thing up with a triple that scores Suttleson from first. So the pinch hitter, Jeffrey Costello, comes up big with 2 away here in the top of the 7th, able to tie this thing up, and that might be it for Joey Walsh.
Yeah, looks like it might be it. Mike Roberts is not messing around early. A lot of pitching change. He's trying to find the exact matchup that he wants, and he's going to go to the bullpen again and get another look at an arm in a big situation. We're now tied 2-2 with 2 outs in the 7th.
And we'll have more information on the new pitcher when we're back. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to Kettleers Baseball. We got 2 away here in the top of the 7th. The new pitcher is Bo Hofstra, a big power arm out of Purdue. 6'5", 235, a guy that can run it up to the mid-90s, maybe even touch up to 97. One of the exciting guys. There's several exciting big power arms in this Kettleers bullpen that we'll get to see throughout the year. Really excited to see what Hofstra can throw. Obviously a big strikeout situation here with a man on third. 24 appearances at Purdue for Hofstra, mostly in relief. Was kind of the closer for that team. 7 saves, a 1.68 ERA, 47 strikeouts in just 39 innings pitched. Walks can be a little bit of an issue. Walked 24 this past season. First pitch is a slider taken for a strike.
It's a big matchup right here. Hofstra with his velocity looks so good on Saturday against Lexington. was able to rack up a couple of strikeouts, and he's up against Andrew Eister, the pinch hitter who singled back in the 5th.
The 0-1 is swung through and missed. A big hack by Eister, and it's 0-2. This is power versus power. A big power hitter in Andrew Eister, the South Carolina commit, and a big power pitcher in Bo Hofstra. 0-2, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Bo Hofstra tries to keep this thing tied. In the top of the 7th, rather. Hofstra comes set, kicks and deals the 0-2. Fouled straight back, and we'll do 0-2 one more time. 94 on the gun from Hofstra. Mentioned some of the other power arms in this bullpen. Kyle Nicholas, a guy who can hit triple digits. We'll see if Coach Roberts calls on him today, or maybe he'll be used later in the week, but plenty of power arms at his disposal. The 0-2, it's a fastball taken away. 1-2. Just a total of 9 hits between the two teams so far today. While the starters didn't go too deep on each side, still a pitcher's duel, a Johnny Holstaff pitcher's duel. Not your traditional type. The 1-2. Another fastball taken away. It'll even things up at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Eister with a slightly open stance. Steps back in real nicely and takes a big hack at every pitch. That's lined over the second baseman, Nick Gonzalez, for a base hit. And YD takes the lead on a 2-out single from the substitute, Andrew Eister.
Eister is in line to be player of the game right now if you're a YD Red Sox fan. Huge hit after the triple that tied up the game by Jeffrey Costello off the bench as a pinch hitter. Eister comes up with his second single of the day. This time a little opposite field poke. Nick Gonzalez was playing a little in on the previous pitch, but then actually scooted back for that pitch and still wasn't able to get it in short right field. So YD is back in front with 2 runs here in the 7th.
That'll bring up Austin Kerner. First pitch is taken in the dirt for ball 1.
Kettleers have work to do. Sun's going down, and on this overcast night, probably not going to have too much time where this is a well-lit ball game. One of the infamous quirks about Lowell Park is that there are a lot of ties here. If a game goes into extras tied and there's not enough time to finish it with the light.
1-0's fouled over the first base dugout. 1-1. Eister not much of a threat to run at first. A modest lead off the bag. Dodd still holding him on. Hofstra comes set, kicks and deals the 1-1. It's a changeup taken at the bottom of the zone for strike 2. Hofstra way ahead of the catcher Austin Kerner, who has a pair of strikeouts already on the day. Hofstra kicks and deals the 2-strike pitch. The runner on the move. Throw is just past him into center field as Dante Williams scoops it up. Might have caught him off guard there. It was a modest lead. Got a good jump off of Hofstra, who was not really checking him very much.
Yeah, Kessler threw behind the runner there, just misfired on his target. Good job by the middle infielders to back it up, though. Keep everything in front.
So now YD will have another runner in scoring position here with 2 outs. We'll see if they can cash in on another 2-out runner in scoring position opportunity. As Hofstra steps off and regroups. Hofstra waits his sign, comes set. The 2-2. Fouled off again. We'll do 2-2 one more time. Jack Wold waits on deck. That would be another power versus power matchup. Got the open base at first, but I don't think Bo Hofstra is interested in putting on Kerner, who struck out twice already today. The 2-2 is popped up into right center field. Colin Davis gives chase, camps under it and makes the grab for out number 3, but not before YD takes the lead. 3-2 here as we go into the bottom of the 7th. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to the town of Cotuit. The Kettleers are chasing one run here in the bottom of the 7th. It'll be Colin Davis, Mason Dodd, then Cam Hill. Legend Smith still on the mound, the left-handed pitcher out of Oklahoma. That's Cam Hill leading off. The first pitch to Cam Hill as he squares, pulls back, and it goes to the backstop for ball 1.
Cam Hill's had a nice productive day today. Bunt single back in the 2nd. RBI ground out to first back in the 4th that scored the first Kettleer run of the day.
The 1-0 to Hill. It's grounded foul on the first base line. Is a nice play by the Kettleers first base coach.
That's Dan Huff over there. An entire new staff of assistants for Mike Roberts in his 16th season. Dan Huff being one of those, he coaches up first, and Coach Roberts holds down the fort at third.
Ball's taken. 2-1 to Cam Hill.
Also got Josh Spence, the Australian pitching coach, former major leaguer with the Padres, and Ken Jarrett.
The 2-1's fouled straight back, make things 2-2.
Splash zone, almost hit a car, parking lot.
Yeah, I have a feeling cars aren't going to be safe there all season long.
No, although I think we're good in the gravel. Hopefully I didn't jinx it.
Yeah, we're safe over there. The 2-2, taken up and in, it'll make things full.
Cam Hill got on base a lot in the scrimmage. He got plunked. He got a hit. I think he also worked a walk in there somewhere too.
Did a little bit of it all as he chokes up here for the payoff pitch. 3-2's taken up and in for ball 4. Kettleers are in business here with a runner on first. Nobody out for the 9-hitter Dante Williams.
Just had a feeling that he was going to work a walk there. He was very patient. Legend Smith was a guy in this past spring with the Sooners that wasn't the most controlled of a pitcher. Walked a lot of batters. I think Cam Hill recognized that, stepping up to the plate, and he works a leadoff walk. Kettleers down 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th.
Knowing Coach Roberts, good chance Dante Williams could be bunting here with the dangerous Nick Gonzalez looming on deck. Third baseman plays way in, continues to creep in as Dante Williams squares, pulls it back, but it's a called strike 1. Terada playing about 75 feet down the line at third base, 10 feet in from the edge of the grass, fully expecting the Dante Williams bunt. Cam Hill pretty fast on first base. It won't take a perfect bunt to get him over. Just got to get it somewhere in the range of the infield. He squares and gets it down the first base line. A nice bunt. Smith bobbles it. He's not going to make the play. He throws it over to second to try to get behind Hill, but he won't get there in time. So first and second, nobody out on the error by Legend Smith.
Well, the small ball comes up to haunt Whitey again, and good execution by the Kettleers again. Dante Williams can fly, and he was busting his tail to get up the first base line, but he didn't have to worry about it. Smith wasn't able to field his position.
And that's a perfect example of when a guy is busting it down the line. Sometimes you create some panic in the infield, and it looked like Smith knew Dante Williams was a burner. Tried to rush the throw when he probably didn't need to. Couldn't pick the ball up, ended up bobbling it. The rest was history. So now first and second, nobody out with the dangerous Nick Gonzalez, the reigning Division I batting champion. Can't get a much more desired situation for the Kettleers. As Gonzalez squares and puts it down, and that'll get the job done. Second and third with one out now. So the Golden Spikes Award finalist, 17 home runs, pretty much every accolade you can imagine. Coach Roberts doesn't care. He's having him square anyway. So now second and third, one away.
That is crazy, but he can fly too. He almost legged out that bunt. Coach Roberts really committing, just doubling down on the small ball today. That's now 2 sacrifice bunts, 2 bunt hits, 1 infield hit on a slash play. He's been playing to his personnel. He's got speed, and Nick Gonzalez humble enough to make the team the priority there and sacrifice the runners in scoring position with just 1 out and his team down 3-2.
And that'll bring up Cam Williams, a pinch hitter. He's a Tampa, Florida native and a University of Texas commit, as we'll have another pitching change. Cam Williams will pinch hit for Araj Anu. It's a switch hitting shortstop. His father played in the big leagues himself, Reggie Williams. Had a nice little career. He had 3 other brothers drafted as well, 3 older brothers, all drafted in the 10th round. We'll take a quick break here during the mound visit, and we wait for the next pitcher. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to Lowell Park. We have another pitching change. It's been a little bit of a chess match so far here on opening day. The new pitcher will be Brandon Default out of Northeastern and Wyndham High School in New Hampshire. One of the few New Hampshire guys we've seen so far. He pitched mostly out of the bullpen as a freshman, pitched to a 5.89 ERA in 26 innings pitched, struck out 20. This past season, 1-2 with a 5.40 ERA, 3 saves, 55 innings pitched, but 35 walks, so control can be a little bit of an issue for Default. And that'll bring up Cam Williams, a switch hitter who is ready to come up from the right side, has to flip it around, put the elbow guard back on the right elbow from the left elbow. and he'll go from the left side here.
Exciting opportunity for Cam Williams. San Jacinto JUCO product this past year, had a really good season. Played his first couple years at Dallas Baptist University. Now he's going to transfer to UT Austin in the fall. It's an exciting time for him, and he's got an opportunity here to give the Kettleers perhaps the lead.
He's got the blue-collar look with the no batting gloves, and he waits the first pitch. It's a fastball, 89 miles an hour, that misses off the plate away. He's ahead 1-0. Patient hitter. He said he led his team in walks this past season. Also hit .343, 9 home runs, 13 stolen bases. Another guy that kind of fits that 5-tool mold. The 1-0 to Williams. Swung through and missed. Strike one. Was a two-seamer that seemed to dive off the outside corner. Tough pitch to hit. 1-1 to the switch hitter Williams. And on second and third, one away here, as the Kettleers are looking to tie it up, down one. He squares to bunt and gets it down, but just foul. So we see Coach Roberts experimenting with a lot of interesting decisions so far, bunting the reigning batting champion in Division I, and now trying a little safety squeeze here with Cam Williams.
Yeah, he's been doubling down with his chips, pushing all the chips in on the table with the small ball this afternoon. And it doesn't look like he's trying to turn away from it here, but with a 1-2 count, Williams got to swing away.
So 1-2 to Cam Williams. Looking to put a ball in play here. He fouls one straight back, and we'll do 1-2 one more time. Middle of the infield is playing back, so a ground ball up the middle will score a run. The corners are playing about even with the bag. Outfielders playing straight away. A lot of speed on the bases. Dante Williams on second. Cam Hill on third. Pitch is grounded back to the pitcher. Cam Hill is in a rundown, but he goes back, decides to throw to first base and gets the out as Cam Williams dives just back. Dante Williams, rather, dives just back in time into second base. So that was a ground ball right back to the pitcher who makes the quick grab. Check the runner Cam Hill at third, who was maybe caught in between. Might have had a chance at him at third. Decides to get the sure out at first base. And now it's first and second, 2 away in the bottom of the 7th here.
Duvall did a good job to run at the runner and Hill on third base and then turn towards Williams at first and get the runner there. And then Dante Williams at second almost came off.
Adam Oviedo takes the first pitch for a strike.
Just realizing that with those 3 players involved for the Kettleers, we had the fusion of all fusions with the 2 Cams and the 2 Williams. Cam Hill, Cam Williams, and Dante Williams.
Yeah, if you notice, I stumbled on the names a little bit. Hopefully we'll square that away. I don't think we'll have a situation that difficult the rest of the season.
Cam H, Cam W, and D Williams.
Yep.
And C Williams.
Yep, that's a broadcaster's nightmare right there. Now 0-2 to Oviedo, who's looking for his first hit of the day.
Big spot for Obi to try and be mentally tough and recover.
The 0-2 to Oviedo, taken down and away for ball one. Tough spot for Williams there, who pretty much had to hit it anywhere else, but the pitcher was able to get a glove on it. The only way the runner wasn't going to score there from third. So now 1-2 to Oviedo, who's looking to pick up a big base hit, which would probably score 2. It's a ball in the hole as Williams gets around third. We're going to have a play at the plate. The throw will be... Williams slaps jump for the throw. A great throw from the left fielder, Andrew Eister, but not in time as Cotuit takes the lead on a 2-run base hit from Adam Oviedo.
Wow, hello again, Adam Oviedo. A huge hit through the left side. Big recovery with 2 strikes on him after striking out in his first 2 at-bats looking. He's able to come up and execute on the one pitch that mattered the most and push his team over the top here in the bottom of the 7th.
And that's just clutch. That's the clutch gene right there. 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 guys in scoring position. And that's where the huge speed on second base. Williams able to score on a relatively routine single out there. Fantastic throw by Eister to even make it close.
Yeah, Eister cannoned that thing in there. It was a little high for Kerner, and that allowed the trailing runner and Williams to slide right in between his feet. And there was too much time from Kerner to try and put the tag down to actually get the runner and Williams. So all the little things add up. I think Williams would have been safe regardless, even if the throw was on time. I think he had a step or two on it. But a great job by Adam Oviedo to come up there and make a play. Knows his way around the block here in Cotuit and comes up with what could potentially be the game-winning hit here on opening day.
But Default isn't out of the woods yet. He has the power-hitting Kessler in now. Not an easy out by any stretch. Takes the first pitch for a strike on the inside corner. Colton Kessler, haven't seen it. He's actually had a couple line drives off the bat so far today. Looking to maybe tap into that power a little bit and poke one out of here with 2 outs. Definitely takes a big swing every time. First pitch is taken inside. Even things up at 1-1. He's a guy that never gets cheated at the plate. Looks like he's always swinging to put one into the trees. Hit a base hit in his first at-bat and lined out in his second. The 1-1 to Kessler. Taken up and out for ball 2. Oviedo stands on first with 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th. Big 2-run single to give the Kettleers the lead. 2-1, 2 outs here. Kessler awaits the 2-1 pitch. Taken inside, way ahead now, 3-1 to the power hitting Kessler. See, light is beginning to become a little bit scarce here as we hope the game picks up pace. Bottom of the 7th, 2 outs, so a couple more innings to go. Hopefully can get this one in. The 3-1 to the catcher. Swung through and missed. 3-2.
Yeah, he took a big rip at that one.
Might have been ball 4, but he took his big rip, wasn't cheated. Now make things full here. Oviedo will be on the move from first. See if Default challenges Kessler one more time with a fastball. The payoff pitch. Taken down and away for ball 4. So the Kettleers aren't done here in the bottom of the 7th. First and second now, 2 away. That'll bring up Casey Schmidt. Schmidt set the table in the 4th inning where the Kettleers got 2 of their runs. Half of their runs came in that 4th inning on a little bit of chaos. Looking to come up big with 2 outs. First pitch is swung through and missed for strike 1. Schmidt looks like he's had a busy day at the office as he takes a stroll around home plate. Facing us shows that dirty jersey from head to toe. Been diving all over today. Could be available to close this one out too. The 0-1 to Schmidt, taken down for ball 1. 1-1.
Kettleers would love to get one more run, squeeze out as much as they can on this little 2-out rally. Oviedo's 2-run single, the difference in a 4-3 Kettleer lead.
Can never have too many insurance runs as that's lifted out to center field. Back is Escala who camps under it. Takes a few more steps back and makes the grab. So the Kettleers will take the lead here on a 2-out, 2-strike, 2-run single to give the Kettleers a 4-3 lead in the bottom of the 7th. We'll go into the top of the 8th as my partner Sam Niederman will have the play-by-play call and take you guys home. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Let's do this thing. Top of the 8th on opening day, and the Kettleers have the lead again, 4-3 over YD. It was Adam Oviedo who came up with a big two-run, two-out single with 2 strikes on him to push the Kettleers back on top in the bottom of the 7th inning. We enter the 8th with a new Cotuit pitcher on the mound. It is the 5th pitcher used for the Kettleers today. Kyle Nicholas, a right-hander out of Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. 6'3", 205 pounds of redshirt sophomore from Northeast Ohio. This kid was stellar in the scrimmage against Lexington. He was pumping heat, upper to mid-90s, and he struck out the sidearm.
He's the guy that can hit triple digits. He's the exciting, probably the most exciting arm on the staff. The big question with him, with most power arms in college, is the control, right? So we'll see how he can control that fastball, see if he can locate the off-speed, because if he can, this guy could be downright unhittable.
He had a fantastic season at Ball State, 23 appearances. He started 5 times, 2-2 with a 5.40 earned run average, and he came in for 6 saves across 51 2/3 innings pitched, holding opponents to that 184 clip. He's up against the heart of the YD order here. Jack Wold, Riley Terada, and Austin Wells, 3, 4, and 5 due up. Cloudy night. We're losing a little daylight here in Cotuit. 7:37 Eastern Time, over 2.5 hours into this game number 1 on the 2019 season. Kettleers 4, YD 3, top 8, and Nicholas winds up on the mound and pushes a fastball in at 96 miles an hour. It's lifted into the air to right. Davis under it. He's got it, 1 down.
You can see a little bit of that uncertainty from the outfielders. We saw it with Escala in the 3rd out of the last inning. You saw it with Davis there, where these guys have caught probably 1,000, no, way more than that, 1,000 fly balls in the last year. They're kind of stuttering at the last second there, showing that they're probably losing sight of it a little bit at the end.
Nicholas gets the leadoff batter on 1 pitch, a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. And here's Riley Terada, who takes fastball upstairs, ball 1. Kettleers up by a run. It's 4-3, top of the 8th inning, 1 out and nobody on. Infield at normal depth. Schmidt hugs the line at 3rd. Swing and a miss. Terada behind a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Wold just missed tying the game up there, by the way. That ball was just missed.
Sounded really good, that's for sure. Nicholas, the 1-1. Hammered it home. 94 miles an hour. Strike 2, 1-2.
That's the one thing with a power pitcher like this. If you can get the bat on it, it goes out even harder than it comes in.
Wold had the solo home run that gave YD the 1-0 lead back in the 5th. And a swing and a miss by Terada. Kyle Nicholas pounds it home. And that's his first strikeout of the year. Out number 2 here in the 8th.
That's Kyle Nicholas saying, here's my fastball, try and hit it. And I think that's his calling card, and that's what he's going to do all summer.
He's a big dude, 6'3". Now he's up against a left-handed bat in Austin Wells. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Wells 0 for 1 with a strikeout. He's reached twice on a couple of walks earlier today. 4-3, Kettleers in the 8th with 2 outs and nobody aboard. Fastball sailed on him, 97, and it went off the top of Kessler's mitt to the backstop.
Talked about it on the last broadcast. We don't know how Ball State continues to churn out these power arms. Dre Jamison was supposed to come out here, 1st-round pick.
Swinging a big fly ball that's going to stay in on the infield. Gonzalez is under it, and he's got it at 2nd for the final out of the inning. Easy work for Kyle Nicholas. He retires YD, 1-2-3 here in the top of the 8th. And we're on to the bottom half of the inning. Cotuit leads 4-3 on opening day here at Lowell Park. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to Lowell Park. Bottom of the 8th inning. Colin Davis leads things off for the Kettleers. Then Mason Dodd and Cam Hill. 6, 7, and 8 due up for Cotuit, leading 4-3 over YD. Bottom 8. And a right-hander still on the mound for YD. Kettleers found a way to get 2 on the board with 2 outs in the 7th, and that's the difference. Davis slices one off foul. He's down the count, 0-1. Davis 0 for 1 with a strikeout as a pinch hitter back in the 6th. Brandon Dufault still working on the bump for YD. It's his 2nd inning of work. Northeastern College product. 0-1, slung in, down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Colin Davis out of Wofford College. Steps out of the batter's box. He does his white batting gloves and digs back in. 1-1 to him. Fed it off foul on the right side. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Native of Roswell, Georgia. Just outside of Atlanta. Father Ricky Davis played under the Bear at Alabama in football. 4-time SEC champ, 1973 national champ. Went on to play under Paul Brown with the Cincinnati Bengals in the NFL. And then earned a law degree from the Red, White, and Blue of Samford U. There's a base hit in the left. Colin Davis could be extra bases. Bounces down near Huth. Davis chugging into second, and he slides in head first with a leadoff double here in the 8th. Colin Davis on cue, his 2nd at-bat as a Kettleers, an extra base hit. And he sets things up nicely for a pinch hitter due up in Ron Sweeney.
So fastball, Default left up in the zone. Davis was able to get all over that and mash it down the line. And you get to see him show off the speed a little bit, easily getting into second. The head first slide looked like it was just for fun.
Now a pinch hitter, normally Mason Dodd, who wraps up the day 0 for 2 with a sacrifice. Ron Sweeney, who bats from the left side and shows bunt, pulls it back. Fastball high and away for ball 1. Davis on second with a leadoff double. Nobody out in the bottom of the 8th. Kettleers hold a 1-run edge, up 4-3 at home on opening day. Sweeney set to go to Minnesota in the fall, an Iowa Western Community College product. (1-0), showing bunt again, and he bunts it back foul. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Roberts must really just be trying to see who can bunt. I don't know the last time I've seen someone pinch hit to bunt, but Sweeney's a guy, a pull hitter. Really could just pull a ground ball over to second base and get the guy over, but I think Roberts is really trying to see what these guys can do with the little things and try and sack this guy over.
We've seen a pair of sack bunts, a pair of bunt hits, and 1 slash bunt hit. 1-1, popped up, a bunt in front of the mound, picked up by Dufault, and he barehands it over to first for out number 1. Sweeney does his job, though, a pinch hit sacrifice. 1-4, Young was covering from second. Davis up to third base, and that brings up Cam Hill, the number 8 batter. Kettleers 4, YD 3. Opening day. Davis at third with 1 out. Cam Hill back to the plate. 1 for 2 with a bunt single, an RBI ground out, a walk and a run scored. Infield plays in for YD. Pitch from Default. Fastball outside. Davis tries to shimmy back into third, and he is gunned down from behind home plate by Kerner. Good snapback throw. Tirada the tag at third. He was taking a hefty lead, and with the infield playing in, they had an opportunity to get him on the relay. And that's exactly what happened. It was kind of a pitch out there from Dufault through that fastball in the other batter's box. And next thing you know, nobody on for the Kettleers and 2 outs.
Looked like everyone was on the same page there. Almost like a set play. I think they might have had a little communication within the infield, but obviously they saw Colin Davis a little too far off third base and playing that because that's a huge out. You know, you're able to get 1 ball in play there. You get a huge insurance run. Now you got nobody on and 2 outs, pretty much taking away the sack bunt.
Score at 2-5. Now nobody on for the Kettleers. 2 outs. Cam Hill with a 2-0 count. Make it 3-0. Off-speed pitch in the dirt. Overcast day in Cotuit. It has cooled down now. It was pretty nice earlier, about 68 degrees at first pitch, but a lot of fans have busted out their sweaters or windbreakers, whatever they've got. Cape Cod weather in June, still pretty cold at night. Once we get into July, it gets pretty nice and summery.
Cold in June are two words I never thought I'd hear together.
Yeah, I know. You hate to say it, man. Hate to say it. Mound visit. Adam Kerner went out as a courtesy for the umpire, Jeff Merzell, who I think took a little bit of that last foul ball. Normal depth for the YD defense. 2 outs, nobody aboard. 3 balls and no strikes on Cam Hill. 4-pitch walk. Brandon Dufault missed everything, and Cam Hill has reached for the 3rd time in 4 plate appearances. It's his 2nd walk of the day, and he keeps the inning alive for Cotuit with 2 outs, and now Dante Williams at the plate.
Just thought of a weird gray area with that new rule we were talking about. So when he walks the ball out to the pitcher, does that count as a mound visit?
I don't think it can be.
So then, what if the umpire didn't really want to him to walk it out and he was just doing him a courtesy?
Oh no, that's just the code, man.
We're gonna start. I'm
Can't
gonna
count
talk
against
to
the
an
code.
I'm gonna talk to an umpire about that. I want the inside scoop on that.
We will have to get clarified on that. The rule we're talking about is the defensive timeouts. You can only have a couple of them in regards to speeding up the pace of play. Dante Williams is 1 for 2. He was a hit batsman back in the 4th, struck out to begin the game in the 2nd, and then reached on a bunt single in the 7th and came around to score the go-ahead run as of now. Hill scampering off first, and Dufault steps off the rubber. The right-hander will reset.
Great opportunity to try and steal a base here. Last chance to really add any insurance before the top of the 9th, a safe situation.
Tirada plays in on the grass at 3rd. 0-1 to Williams. Checked his swing on a low fastball and held up. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Typically, you can be a little wary of stealing here with the 9-hitter up because you want to make sure you flip the order over for the top of the order. But like we said, this is potentially their last at bat. Try and add an insurance run. Wouldn't be shocked if they try and swipe a bag.
Pick over to first. Cam Hill is out. Great job by Dufault. He got him good. Good move by the right-hander. 6'5" and a great spin. Hill was leading off towards second, and right when he lunged that way, that was when the throw came in, and he was out. So that is the end of the 8th for the Kettleers at the plate. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and a couple of runners picked off. And that's how we go to the 9th. Opening day, and it's Kyle Nicholas and the Kettleers who will try and find 3 more outs to get the job done and give the Kettleers a win to start off 2019. We'll be right back with that in just a moment. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Kettleers with a chance to close it out on opening day. 4-3 lead for Cotuit. Top of the 9th inning. And YD's at the plate with one last chance against the big right-hander, Kyle Nicholas. It begins with Wyatt Young, 6, 7, and 8, and the little second baseman takes ball 1 upstairs. Sam Niederman, Arm Layton, and our entire Cotuit Kettleers media team here at Lowell Park in the Arnold Mycock press box. Glad that you could join us for opening day. Young pops up, the second pitch foul and out of play behind home plate. 1-1, and it looks like that one nailed a car in the parking lot, judging by the reaction. Hopefully not too much damage, but that's kind of the risk. 1-1 to Young. Big wave and a miss at a high fastball, 1-2. Nicholas ahead in the count. It's getting dark here in Cotuit. Overcast skies at 7:51 p.m. Eastern. Williams in center. He shades a little bit towards the left center alley. Outfield plays in by a step as well. 1-2, lifted towards left. Hills under it, tracking towards the foul line, and actually makes the catch a half step into fair territory. One down.
It's hard enough to hit 95 plus. Then you got the daylight burning away, and you got to still try and hit 95 plus as it gets a little, as dusk becomes upon us. That's a hard proposition.
Absolutely right, my friend. Here's Jake Settleston. 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored back in the 7th. Nobody on, 1 out. Top 9, Kettleers up 4-3. Nicholas deals in a slider. That's in there on the outside corner. Strike 1.
Something we want to keep seeing him do there. If he can locate that off speed early in the count, he'll be unhittable.
0-1, cut and a miss. Comes back with 96 miles an hour of gas. No balls and 2 strikes on Settleston. Right fielder from Harvard, matched up against the big right-hander from Ball State. Nicholas steps off. Sweeps the rubber with his left foot, toes it back with his white and black cleats. Black Rawlings mid at the belt, wind up in the 0-2. Got him swinging, nice heat. 92, no chance for Settleston, 2 down. Whitey is down to their final out on opening day. The Kettleers have a 4-3 edge here in the top of the 9th inning. Dusk upon us in the village of Cotuit. And Cotuit is on the verge of ringing in their 73rd season of baseball with a victory. Only man that stands in their way is Will Escala, the center fielder, who hacks at the first pitch. Strike 1, a fastball. 96 on the gun again. Adam Oviedo's 2-run, 2-out, 2-strike single in the 7th. The difference right now. Nicholas dives off the plate with a slider, 1 ball and 1 strike on Escala.
The scary thing about Nicholas is after the exhibition, he was sitting around the same 94, 96, and he said, yeah, I was working on location, didn't really want to reach back and fire extra. So we'll see how much more he has in the tank as the season goes on. It's hard to believe that there is any more in the tank, that anyone could have any more in the tank.
He's following in the footsteps of 2018 Kettleers ace John Baker. His 2-1, fouled off by Escala. Back into the piping behind home plate, and now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes on the Miami center fielder. The Kettleers lead it 4-3, top 9, nobody aboard for YD. 2 outs, Nicholas the 2-2. Breaking pitch on the outside corner, ring him up and call it a ball game for Cotuit. Kyle Nicholas books it for the final 6 outs. Adam Oviedo's 2-run single wins it in the 7th for the Kettleers, and it's Cotuit who's a victor on opening day, 1-0 to start out the 2019 Cape League campaign.
All-around day. Obviously, the bats were slow out of the bat to start, but a great start from Colin Farrell, something we weren't really expecting. Not to slight him, just he was absolutely dominant. And then you go to the bullpen. It seemed like each guy was just really good and on, and that's something that's kind of rare. The more you go to the bullpen, the more guys you throw, the more chance that one of them is going to be off that day. But it seemed like everyone from top to bottom was good, and of course, shutting the door unbelievably just now, and the whole bullpen was great.
Kyle Nicholas finished up the last 2 innings of this ball game. He struck out 3. Chris Farrell with the start, and he was so impressive, as you mentioned, Arm. His final line, 4 1/3, a hit. Did not allow, or he only allowed 1 run, and that was the Jack Wold solo home run. Walked 2 and struck out 5. We'll break up the rest of this game and break it all down when we come back. Both teams shaking hands on the diamond. Not the first time that they'll play all season long. They'll play a few more times, and it should be a good battle. Both ball clubs look good. Mike Roberts and his team start out 1-0 on the 2019 campaign. We'll be back in just a moment to wrap it up. The Kettleers win 4-3. You're listening to Cotuit Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to Lowell Park and to our broadcast booth. Sam Niederman along with Arm Layton and our entire Cotuit Kettleers media team. It is a final on opening day and a great result for the Cotuit Kettleers. Kettleers win over the YD Red Sox by a final score of 4-3. It was a very unique game of defensive battle, a lot of good pitching, and the Kettleers went with small ball. This thing started off with Chris Farrell on the hill for the Kettleers, and in his 2019 debut, he was sharp as ever. 4 1/3, allowed 1 hit. It was the 1 home run. Only walked 2 and struck out 5. Then the bullpen came in after that. The Kettleers were trailing 1-0 heading into the bottom of the 4th, but then Cotuit got 2 runs back in a unique inning. An inning that started off with a base hit by Casey Schmidt, an infield single by Gun-Young Kim, a sacrifice by Mason Dodd, RBI ground out by Cam Hill made it 2-1, and then a balk while Nick Gonzalez was at the plate allowed a second run to come home and score, and it was 2-1 Kettleers after 4 innings of play. YD then jumped back in front in the top of the 7th inning. It started off with a pinch hit triple by Jeffrey Costello to make it 2-2, and then an RBI single by Andrew Eister, who finished the day 2 for 2 with an RBI, made it 3-2. Kettleers trailing in the bottom of the 7th inning. Adam Oviedo at the plate with 2 in scoring position, an 0-2 count, and 2 outs, and he finds a way to push a single through the left side and scored the eventual 2 game-winning runs. 4-3. Kyle Nicholas came in for the final 2 innings, and he got the save, a 6-out save. Aram Layton, that's the recap of the game. What do you take away from all of that?
Kyle Nicholas looks like he's going to be the closer for the Kettleers moving forward. I mean, he has electric stuff. The little things that the Kettleers did on offense, obviously the bats are a little rusty. You don't have everything going for you, but you're able to manufacture runs. Yeah, they had some little mistakes here and there that they were able to take advantage of. And then, of course, I think the defining moment of the game, quite obviously, is the Adam Oviedo 2-strike, 2-out, 2-run single to give them the lead and ended up being the difference. Those are the kind of things, that's the difference between a good playoff ball club and a ball club that might struggle to be 500 is those 2 outs, runners in scoring position opportunities. And I'm probably going to drive you nuts with how much I say that, but in my opinion, I think that's what separates a good team from a great team.
And how about just the pitching all around? Chris Farrell was so good in his first start as a Kettleer, but then the bullpen guys, Matt Moore, Joey Walsh getting back into the swing of things, even Bo Hofstra to bridge the gap before Kyle Nicholas. Really, everybody looks solid.
It was a Johnny Holstaff type of night, but typically those don't end up good, and today was amazing because every single guy seemed like they were on, and that's something that has to be encouraging for Coach Roberts moving forward. A lot of confidence he'll have in his staff, and a lot of guys that he didn't even use yet. So, yeah, they went to a lot of guys, but a lot of them only threw 1 inning, so they'll be available later in the week, and they all looked really sharp. So I'm excited to see what this staff can do moving forward. It looks like this Kettleer team early on is going to be able to do a little bit of everything.
Would you say that you think that we saw the best crop of pitchers that Cotuit has at the moment in terms of Farrell as a starter, and then the rest of that's like the ace team of the bullpen that we saw?
That very well could be. You know, we talk a lot about Bo Hofstra. We talk a lot about some of these power arms, and it seems like they went to all of those power arms. Matt Moore, a really crafty lefty. I think the bullpen could be what separates the Kettleers from a lot of teams, and they looked really, really good tonight.
Yeah, it was a really good game for Cotuit, a defensive pitching early season battle. Kettleers win it 4-3 over YD. Let's go down through the lineup and get you a couple of the notable performers today. It was a really good day at the plate for Adam Oviedo in the 7th. He finished the day 1 for 4 with a 2 RBI single that ended up being the game-winning hit. Colton Kessler went 1 for 3 with a single and a walk. Casey Schmidt 1 for 4 with a single and a run scored. Gun-Young Kim went 1 for 2 with an infield hit and a run scored. Colin Davis 1 for 2 as a pinch hitter with a double as well. You also had a great performance by Cam Hill. He was productive in all 4 of his plate appearances. He went 1 for 2 with a bunt single, RBI ground out, 2 walks and a run scored. And then Dante Williams respaced twice. He was 1 for 2 with a bunt single, a run scored, and was also a hit batter at one point. So that's the rundown on the entire Kettleer lineup. Kettleers win this one. 4 runs on 7 hits with 1 error. Whitey 3 runs on 5 hits with 1 error. Bo Hofstra is a winning pitcher. He is 1-0 on the season. Brandon Dufault on the hook for the loss. 0-1 on the year for YD. Give the save to Kyle Nicholas, his first of the season. Time of the ball game, it took 2 hours and 51 minutes. Overcast skies heading into dusk at about mid-60s in the temperatures, and we can guess that probably about a good 1,000 or so in the village of Cotuit came out for this one and enjoyed a Kettleers victory. Next up for the Kettleers tomorrow night, same time, same place, 5 p.m. with the Chatham A's in town. It's going to be another great interdivisional battle. Chatham in Cotuit with 5 p.m. first pitch. Airtime at 4:45 Eastern. Going to be a really fun game. You can always watch the game on YouTube at Cotuit Kettleers. Or if you're locally in town here on the Cape, watch it on Comcast, Channel 99. And, of course, live audio for all 44 regular season games right here on Mixlr.com/Cotuit Broadcasting. That's Mixlr.com/Cotuit Broadcasting. On 15 minutes before every game, home and road, going to be a really fun season. Arm, it was great to get the first one under the belt with you, my friend. Looking forward to tomorrow with Chatham in town, 5 p.m.
Looking forward to it. Let's have a season.
Let's have a good season. The Kettleers players are out on the diamond right now. They're doing work on the diamond. Mike Roberts can celebrate another victory to begin his 16th season in charge. General Manager Bruce Murphy also out there in his 21st season in charge of the Cotuit Kettleers front office. Well, that's a wrap for us here at Lowell Park. Thank you so much for joining us. Join us tomorrow at 5 p.m. for the Chatham game, and the Kettleers take it 4-3 over YD. This has been opening day at Lowell Park and Cotuit Kettleers baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. We'll see you next time. Enjoy your evening.